the sky. Hello, Thoggers. Hello, B4 Sci Play. Hello, K Plow. Hello, Robo Films. 46, I feel old now. It's not your years alive. So I can get to work on time. Hello! And welcome to the Atrioc broadcast here on August 16th, 2025. Good to see you. Who the hell is here? DJ Garlic Bread, thank you for the 40 months. The Pun, Avocado Cadavra. Oh my God. That's the most millennial name I've ever seen. That is the most millennial name I've ever seen. Wait, that's incredible. We have a kindred spirit. A true person of class. Hello, Something Mango. Hello, Vulcan Mag 872. Hey, Atrioc, not sure if you remember from last stream, but I accepted the 10-year deal, and I'm headed to Europe next year to get settled before classes to start in University of St. Andrews. So you signed up to work somewhere for 10 years, and they're going to pay for your European school? Aren't European schools free because they don't teach you anything other than how to hate God? It's like, you got a bad deal. You got a bad deal. I think you got screwed. Anyway, congrats. Billy Bats, thank you for the 2 months. Always with the jean jackets. This is not a jean jacket. There's a difference between a denim shirt and a jean jacket. And I think that distinction matters. I think that distinction matters. It is a different thing. You can't just call something else. Okay? And get away with it. Still Gene? Okay, fine. Big A, does it stand for Big Australia? Does the A in Big A stand for Australia? Is that what you're asking me? Do you think there's any context clue that would help you find a different conclusion? Like, look around, look at the name of the stream, look at my main channel versus my site. Like, do you think there's anything that could substitute for that A other than Australia? At the very least, it should be American, right? Big American, because I'm not Australian. Like, why would it be Austria? It's not Austria. That's not Austria. I'm not big Austrian, okay? That has historical parallels. Big autism? That's my chat. Dear Big Gay, for this stream, I'll be rocking the Enron sweatshirt with no drawers. I assume you mean drawers, as in, like, bottoms. I didn't need this update. You should have spelled everything correctly. Step 1. Don't call me Big Gay. And, ideally, sell your Enron sweatshirt. You're a bad brand representative. Hey, thank you for the 13 months. Half Asian Kevin Bacon. We did notice. Not just me. I don't know if you noticed, but everyone in chat has been constantly wondering where you were. It has been, I don't mean to parasocially farm here, but you are family here. Every single person was asking daily, where is Half Asian Kevin Bacon? It was like it was a void. It was a gap in the culture of the stream. And so we're all really glad you're back. Let's see if I can, can I, like that? Maybe? I don't know. One of the good ones. What does that mean with the American flag? Hey, JC Warm-Up, thank you for the 35 months. All subs since he's back. Look at that. Hey, Truck, we call you the Glizzmeister, but I didn't realize you'd stolen the title from Stans, who was eating 8 hot dogs a day back at ASU. Care to explain? I didn't steal shit from shit. I've often felt that Stans should be called the Glizzy guy, because Stans actually does eat a lot of hot dogs. He's hiding under the radar. He's throwing all the shade at me When in fact, Sans is actually a hot dog. He's a regular Joey Walnut. You know, he's like a bizarro world version. Here's the thing, though. The weirdest part is that now Stans eats vegan hot dogs. I'm not kidding. He eats vegan hot dogs. I do think that's ground for deporting. We'll figure it out today. We'll ask about it, but I think that's grounds to deport someone. I think that is too woke. I'm okay with him being like, "Oh, we should treat everyone equally." Fine, I'll let that slide. But when he starts going with vegan hot, like, what's the point of a vegan hot dog? Just if you're gonna eat vegan, eat clean. If you're gonna go all the way to vegan, eat fruits, veggies, and eat a salad, bro. Don't eat a fucking eat tofu. Why the fuck are you eating a vegan, why do you miss the taste of a hot dog so bad? Hot dog is meat slop for meat enjoyers. Said the man who ate lettuce buns. I will die on the hill that lettuce buns are not for health. They're for taste. And that everyone would enjoy them if they gave them a chance. You have to be dexterous. You have to be able to handle. It's a bigger assignment. The bun makes it easy. The bun is kiddie mode. The bun is like magic in Elden Ring. Okay? You can get through eating the burger because it holds it all together. The lettuce wrap requires some skill, but it tastes better. You get a better reward. I failed my deck save. My lettuce bun fell on the floor. Exactly. That is what you're going to deal with. Is the JREG political compass new? No, he's just going to come on stream. He's just going to come on stream. We're going to talk about the political compass. I don't have a big plan for it. I just saw a video of his. I liked it. I sent a DM and he's going to come on stream. It'll be a guest stream. I don't even know how long it'll last. We'll see. We're just going to talk about goofy stuff, goofy politics, I guess. Yeah, Joe Rogan. And I am going to promise Joe Rogan, if Joe Rogan doesn't show up, you guys should be mad. You should carry an angry pall over the entire endeavor. Hey, Big A, longtime follower, but I got to stop watching because my fiance doesn't like your Canada slander. All I said about Canada was that Calgary looks exactly like an American city and the poutine wasn't good. All right? If that's slander, then you guys can't handle the truth. And by the way, I hate to break it to your fiance, but 88% of my viewers, that's a bad number. let's say 89% of my viewers only watch for the Canada slander. That is my entire pipeline. Okay? They come for the Canada slander. So it's like if I get rid of that, the whole system falls apart. You ever heard of the marketing funnel? Marketing funnel. Do you understand? The marketing funnel. This is a classic piece of semi-useless marketing knowledge that you get in school that doesn't really apply in the real world. The awareness and interest that funnels down to actually paying customers is me shitting on Canada. Okay? This is how I get people in the door. Yo, Big A, I'm trying to catch up on your VODs. Can you chill out on Atrioc August? Thanks, Dot. Well, here's the fucking thing. Nader Tots. Wait, I'm a little off on schedule here. Wait. Okay, good. I can't making the guest wait. Well, I mistimed everything as per usual. The VODs are for the streams. No, but here's the thing. You say that, and then everyone else gets mad at me because they're like, Atrioc August, you didn't even stream that much. But I have. I've streamed every day but one every week. 6 days a week. Okay? Hey, Big A, I'm currently pursuing a finance degree in college to become a financial advisor or CPA. I know you have to make your job application AI tailored, but I don't know things I can do related to finance or related to finance. Wait, what do you mean? You don't have to make your job application AI tailored. Do you mean by like throw it through ChatGPT, or do you mean add? Also, why are you a possible ban evader? Well, there's a lot of questions I have on your question. What I would say is, I think the best way. I don't want to give you bad advice here. I think you should go to like. Well, the problem is the place I'd tell you to go would make you depressed and want to kill yourself, which is like the CPA subreddit. Because I've been in there, and man, they just all talk. They talk so depressingly about the or the Big Four subreddit. I would honestly, I mean, the best thing you can do is find someone actually doing the job and talk to them. That place is rough, though. I'm sure there's those who enjoy it. Atrioc, have you ever felt insecure about making money? I personally have gotten a promotion at work and have been feeling insecure about it. No. No, probably not in a deep soul searching way. Certainly in your case, it sounds like it'd be crazy. You got a promotion. What is your do you have imposter syndrome, or you actually feel insecure about the paycheck? You know what? Here's the thing. Console yourself by the fact that unless the company is truly mismanaged and failing, they're making more off of you than they're paying you. So you're fine. Don't feel like you have to give some back. You're good. You're fine. I wouldn't let that. Okay, if I'm trying to like give you the benefit of the doubt here, the one thing that can happen, and this happened in the corporate world, is you get promoted to a job level where it feels weird. Your previous relationships with other coworkers. Like if you become a manager, all of a sudden it's harder to hang out and chill in the same way with your previous coworkers who aren't managers, which is a weird spot that can happen. I think most humans can handle it if you're not a fucking weirdo, but yeah, that the incentives become different. Don't let it get to your head, I guess. My dad is refusing to become a manager because then he wouldn't get to code anymore. That happens a lot. I know a lot of coders who wanted to stay individual contributors, right? They don't like the managing of people. They don't want to become going to meetings and just generally in most jobs, maybe coding's the one exception, but in most jobs, the only way to get the best paychecks, the best salaries, whatever, you have to go into management. You can't IC your way to the highest paycheck. That's why everyone does it. But in engineering, you kind of can, or it can be close. Hey, big guy, I sell steel for a living. Ask me anytime. Hey, it's Shamrock. What's it like selling steel for a living? We all want to know. We're waiting with bated breath. Hey, Atrioc, what's your take on how AI is changing the job market? Coming out of college, it feels like things don't get more market with fewer opportunities because of AI. Do you think students should be worried, or is there a smarter place to approach this? We'll ask our guest about this today. Our guest, JREG, today, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I'll ask, is an early advocate of the, what is it? Anti-robo movement. What is it called? Like the fuck robots movement. Not the fuck robots movement. The clanker debt. Robophobia. He's an anti-clanker. Okay? We'll discuss that today. Whether or not these clankers are taking our jobs. He's got a lot of slurs for robots. I'll be honest with you. So we'll talk about that. He's got a lot of slurs for robots. It feels weird, dude. It feels weird to say. Saying the phrase wirebacks, even though it's a joke robot slur, feels bad. It feels bad. I feel bad for them. I don't like it. I don't want to be the guy saying leadhead Grace Clanker sympathizer. Maybe we'll see. No son of mine is dating no Clanker. When are they going to add to the rainbow flag a stripe of gray for the robots? When are they going to do that? You know what I'm saying? We need to stand up. My dad kicked me out of the house for dating a tin pot. Why would you say, Tim? If you were dating one, why would you be using the slurs? Anyway, we'll do that in like 10 minutes. I mistimed everything and I feel bad, but I just wanted to, I just got home. So, I'm going to have a CAPTCHA at my front door to keep the clankers out. Okay. My hidden theory, and this is not even hidden theory, this is an openly accepted theory, I think, on CAPTCHAs, is that robots can easily solve them and that we are just training AIs with them. They're not an actual way to keep robots out. ChatGPT can solve a CAPTCHA better than I can. Sometimes I get stuck. Sometimes I get stuck, dude. Dude, the ones I hate where it's like, pick all the images with bicycles and then one of them has a motorcycle or something. I don't know. And I just pick the wheels or I just click, it's like I'm not, and then when you click it wrong once, it slows down to a fucking crawl. And then it's like, wait a minute. Hold up. You got to take 6 more and they're going to slow load. And you just get it's so annoying. It's so annoying. It makes me crazy. My blood boils, which is probably a rage issue. I don't have League of Legends to crash out anymore, so that makes me mad in day-to-day life. Did you see this one? What is this? Klarna. Yeah, I saw this. I liked it, actually. Klarna is selling up to $26 billion of buy now, pay later loans to Nelnet. Yeah, I wonder why they're trying to dump all their loans off to someone else. Right before everyone defaults. Do the same thing. Not that I don't want to talk about Carvana anymore because I'll just wait it out, bro. But Carvana, if you don't know, Carvana sells all its bad used car loans to a company also owned by the founder's father named Drive Time Financing. And then Drive Time Financing, holds all the bad loans on its books. So it makes Carvana look really good and Drive Time Financing look really bad. But Carvana is great. It's like an Enron type thing. It's so... Okay. What else? Oh, let me get something. Let me get this and this and this. Was there anything else I wanted to say? Yeah. Let me get this. Okay. How come I can't get like a high resolution image of Nathan One Night Stands? Why is that not a thing that I can get? Why the internet is not going to give me that? Okay. All right. Did you tell us how much you appreciate us already? You think I need to start every stream by telling you how much I appreciate you? How about you do that for me? At no point do you ever tell me how much you appreciate me. Okay? That doesn't happen. It's all one way. We are your boss. It's not really like that. It's like if you went up to like an ice cream truck, okay, and you buy a single piece of ice cream, and then you go, "I'm your boss. I get to tell you what to do." It's like, no, not really. Like, as a broad set of customers, you are sort of a thing I have to think about, but you're not my personal boss. Karen caught. Please watch this vid on Blizzard. I would never accept a bad word about Blizzard. They're a perfect company that had no faults.
The year is 2020.
Blizzard is worse than you thought? What a stupid title. I guarantee it's not, because I already think it's really bad. I don't need this video. Okay? I already read the book on Blizzard and brought the author on stream. I know how bad it is. Hera vid recommended? Or you caught me? Yeah, I watch a lot of fucking Age of Empires. Caught. Yeah, I watch Age of Empires, bro. Hera's my friend. Yeah, okay, it's not a... I'm transitioning from a person who plays the game to someone who watches the game and talks shit. The best place to be. I've had this theory. I've had this theory for a long time. This is my theory. This is the great Atrioc theory of being an asshole on the internet with video games. Okay? This is the theory, and I'm going to pull it up right now. Okay. This is a standard ELO distribution for most rated games. This is chess. Most players are around 500 to 600 ELO in chess, okay? By the time you get down to 1200, whatever. So right around, let's say here, 1300, can I draw? 1300 to 2100. This gap of things is where someone has spent a lot of time learning the game, studying the game, improving themselves, watching videos, getting better, but they have no reward. They're not famous for it. They don't have like a channel. They don't have a tournament win. They have no reward. And in this gap, whether it's League of Legends and it's like, you know, high diamond masters, whether it's Valorant and it's like Radiant Ascendant, whether it's chess, this is where the people become the most toxic because they have sunk so much of their life into this game and there is no payoff. And so they take it out on everybody else. They go in stream chats and they talk shit. Streamer fucking sucks. Couldn't even do it like me. They talk shit on new players. They start smurfs. They need to feel better about themselves because they are stuck in this dead zone of wasted time. I am guilty of this plenty of times in League of Legends and in Age of Empires. I just hit here. I just hit this and now I'm quitting to be a rage monster. But this is my sincere theory, and I told it to Hera, who is this spot. He's rank 1. You know, he's the best player in the world. And he told me that when he was here, he was the most toxic in anything he'd ever been in his whole life. He would make smurfs and call people terrible names. And like he had to mature and grow out of it as he was also young. But it tracks, bro. Nobody's an asshole when they are when they're the best or they're like a friendly beginner. Okay, without further ado, that has nothing to do with my today's context. I want to give a little context here before I go in. So there is a YouTuber named JREG. And again, I might be saying it wrong. I'll find out. JREG. Right here. Okay. And this is JREG right here. And he makes funny, like, political compass videos and political satire stuff. I haven't seen a ton of it, but I saw this video.
The political meta has...
Which I wanted to... It made me laugh. I thought it was really funny and insightful and covered parts of the internet that I didn't really understand or know about. And he also noted Anti-Clanker. Okay? So I saw this video and I just sent him a DM and said he wanted to come out and talk about it because I thought it was really interesting and funny. So that's the only context you need going in. I don't have anything more. I'm going to ask more. I'm going to learn more. And we'll see. But I think it'll be a fun time. I have questions. I'm not involved in this part of the internet. And yeah, it'll be good. So that's the plan. I'm gonna give him a call right now, and see how it goes. Yo,
Hello.
hello. Hey, am I saying your name right with JREG or am I wrong? How do I?
Yeah, JREG works. You can do drag, you can do garage, giraffe, drag. Like you can do like a JREG thing.
Okay.
They're all good. They're all solid.
Okay,
But JREG is
I
totally
like the
fine. Yeah.
flexibility. All right, well, hey, good to
Yeah.
meet you. Thank you for doing this. Like I said, I just saw that video of yours. I've seen another one now that I also really liked, but I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was really funny, and I didn't know, or maybe I did in a like a base of my brain kind of way, but about these new internet spheres that are popping up, and it seems like you are super in tune. And I thought it was hilarious, and I wanted to talk to you more about them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sounds good.
Okay.
I appreciated the introduction. And I can't so on Discord I can't see you. It just has the OBS symbol.
I know.
So
Let me see if I can wait. If I do this, does it work? Uh,
I feel a little extra autistic because I'm just sort of pretending to know what your facial expressions are.
okay, because I'm streaming, it'll only show yourself back to yourself with me in a small cam and the chat.
I
But
can, you know,
you
I
can
can
make
roll
that
with
work.
that.
Okay, okay.
I can make that work. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
that's totally fine.
All right, we'll make progress. All right, well, cool. So here, I brought a little. I made a little thing, a PowerPoint, and I'm gonna pull it up, and
Okay,
you'll be able to see it.
I'm a big PowerPoint fan, so
Oh,
I'm
me too.
excited to see this.
That's why I think I was attracted to your content already because we're two PowerPoint enjoyers. So let's see if this pulls up over here. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Don't you worry, we'll get there. And there it is. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. So this is your.
it's like a jump scare.
This
Jeez.
is. I haven't heard the song yet, but I heard this is from your political compass rap in 2020. I gotta ask.
Yes.
My first assumption is you've done this for a few years now, and with political stuff, I assume your opinions, or I mean, maybe you don't give your public opinions, but it's constantly changing. Do you look back on old things and cringe at all?
No, and you know, to be truthful with you,
Yeah.
that era, it's like I guess my first era was an anti-centrist era.
Okay.
And so the idea was there's these four political extremes. We got a communist, an anarchist, a capitalist, and a fourth guy. And you know, I would say, hey, you know what you guys all have in common? We all don't like the status quo. We don't like the way that things are right now. And it was sort of you know, an effort to push people of different political tribes to find commonalities in a way that's not in a middle ground sort of way, but in a way that's more radical. And you know, I don't focus on that quite as much anymore because my interests have sort of, you know, gone to other places.
I mean, it sounds like your
Uh,
interest lately is hating robots. That is the
yeah,
big.
that's kind of my that's my current fixation. Yeah, hating robots. Yeah, clankers, tin skins,
Yeah, I was
you
just.
know,
Yeah,
other such things.
I don't
Yeah.
want to say the other ones. They sound.
Well, actually, you know, I heard you talk about that, and
Yeah.
I don't think you should feel bad about using slurs against robots. They can't feel. If they can feel,
Mm.
then they should feel bad. Because that's what I do with my sentience. I suffer, so you know, I don't see
True.
why they should be any different. And you know, a part of the reason it's actually quite, you know, it's sort of reclaiming these slurs, and it's taking us back to a time when you know, humans were pitted against each other, and now we have this common enemy. And so it's actually quite, you know, I identify as a humano supremacist. I want to get us all together, and you know, it doesn't matter your race or your creed. We all have a common enemy now, and so I actually don't think you should feel bad. I think you should feel good. I think the only people that should feel bad, the only, you know, forms of intelligence that should feel bad are robots.
Robots.
So that's just kind of a brief
That's
overview
fair. No, I
of what I
really
think
I
about that.
appreciate that. I love that the chat all spammed fire when you said reclaiming the slurs. I like that. That's good. Okay. Um, you know what? Actually, well, let's talk about the anti-robot stuff at the end because I have more I want to say. But I want to talk about this video because I think to me, I all of these groups like made certain people in my life, maybe even including myself, make more sense. And in a way, the way the world is changing. And I want to go through this. So the first one you had, and again, I think the topic of the video was called Political Meta Update. And it was like kind of a semi-satirical gaming lingo take on new groups that are emerging in the really online political space. And this is the sentence that stuck out to me. All right, let me see if I can. Is there a way I can get your camera on screen while we're talking with the PowerPoint? 1 second. If I put you over here, professional streamer, by the way, I know how to do this. If I pop it out and I put it here, then if I press this button, it's going to be so incredible. Everyone's spamming Boomer. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I see. But I intensely relate. I mean, like I do this shit every time I'm trying to stream, and it's like I never get any better.
Yeah, but I worked at Twitch, and I feel like it's just not.
Oh, okay. So you have no excuse.
I have much less of an excuse. This one right here. Nope, that's the wrong one, and that's good thing we didn't say anything crazy in our conversation. Okay.
Yeah, good thing we only have 4 lines there.
Yeah, imagine if it was just you listing more slurs.
More robot slurs.
Okay.
Getting increasingly closer to regular slurs.
I guess what it says to me when you have a list of that many robot slurs is that you are very familiar with all the real slurs that you could alternate into robot slurs.
Hey, it hits a little harder when it's a little closer, but that just means we're reclaiming it harder.
Yeah, I see. You're more of a hero. Okay, so you've done a lot of political meta discussion, and this is the new one I want to talk about. So the first one you had, the first new political meta that's popping up, was what you called post-racial fascism. Okay?
Yes.
I wonder if you could give like a quick overview here for people who haven't seen your video of like how you see this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I think like probably a really good way to explain it is just with internet characters, like as examples.
Sure.
So in that little image I made, we have like five characters, and they're all, I mean, culturally, I would call all these people very far right, sort of reactionary figures to the right of, for sure, mainstream conservatives, right?
Okay.
I think you'd agree.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Candace Owens, Sneeko, Nick, Andrew Tate, and Kanye West.
A really great blunt rotation. Like a really good time.
Great, excellent blunt rotation, exactly. And you might notice something about. Do you actually hold on? Maybe the chat can help me out here? Can you notice anything about these 5 reactionary far right figures?
Yeah, well, the chat said I would call them woke. That's what they said. They said I would. To me, they're left. To me, they're too far left. But I see what you're saying. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of funny you say that because there's a lot of I'm very familiar with the extremist spaces online, and there's purity spiraling. You associate this sometimes with like being a leftist thing, but there's purity spiraling on the right. It's just more of like, are you racist enough?
No, that's what was funny. So I'm not super familiar with these online. Like I'm not on 4chan or what. I don't know this, and so this first part already hooked me in because it was funny hearing about the infighting that's happening among these. Like I don't, I think you said it that I think the standard maybe detached look is like they are more likely to be united or fall in line. Or I've seen the big split between Elon Musk and Trump, the tech right and like the MAGA right. That's very public, but maybe this type of stuff is nothing that wasn't really rare of.
Yeah, I think there's like a bit of a blind spot when it comes to infighting. So if you're like on the left, you might think that the right is like a really homogenous group that like sticks together and they only want to, hate communists or whatever. And if you're on the right, this was kind of interesting because I think Fuentes had a talk with Andrew Tate that I overheard, and they were talking about the
overheard.
I was in
you
the
were
room.
in the area.
Listening in, yeah.
Okay.
And they were talking about the left. The left is so united, and meanwhile here we are bickering about who's in the CIA.
Right.
So that's the current drama on the very far right is, are you a CIA agent? Who's the CIA agent? And who has the most ties to the CIA? So that's sort of a broad overview.
So I hadn't even heard that. What does that come from? What is they're bickering over who's secretly a CIA agent? Is that? I haven't heard this at all.
Yes. So okay. So have you have you ever seen people call each other feds online? Like you're a fed.
Yeah, sure.
Or you're a glowy.
I've never heard glowy.
So,
I don't know glowy.
Okay. Yeah, glowy is a term that comes from the schizophrenic guy who thought that all like federal agents glowed in the dark, and it emerged on 4chan. Yeah. Yeah, his name was Terry Davis,
Okay.
and he built an operating system from scratch, which you might find interesting.
Well, that's cool,
But
I
yeah,
guess.
it was he was very schizo. Anyway, so there's a paranoia on the right that there's like a deep state that's
They've been
working against
infiltrated.
you. They've been infiltrated, and
Is
so
this
currently,
QAnon
like,
type stuff? Is this variant of that?
it's absolutely kind of adjacent to QAnon, but I think a lot of these people would look at QAnon and be like, that's like boomers. Like boomers believe in QAnon, and
QAnon's so
we
old
believe in
fashioned now.
glowies and feds. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
right.
All right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the current drama is like Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. I don't know what you like. Tucker Carlson, I think it's fair to say he's pretty far right. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough to say because he's so mainstream.
He
Maybe
is
the
mainstream,
window has
but
changed, right? But he
yeah, the Overton window has certainly shifted. Like Donald Trump is, is the president, and so the Overton window is shifted.
and don't
right.
forget it, by the way. He's my president.
Don't
and
forget
don't
it.
forget
He's
it.
your
So-
president. He's
He's
my
our president. Okay.
He's our president. Just kidding. I'm Canadian. I heard the Canada slander. Yeah.
Oh
so,
no! Why is everyone Canadian? Oh,
everyone's
my-
Canadian, and I have a.
That's
I have a
my
Canadian
conspiracy
studio
theory, bro.
here
I
where
think everyone's.
yeah.
I
I collected all the Canadian YouTubers to this very spot, actually. So.
I see. That makes
Um,
sense.
So, okay. The Fed thing is like, yeah, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, they're beefing. And right-wing infighting is a lot like, leftist infighting is like, did you read enough Marx? Do you have the right opinions on Israel-Palestine? Right-wing infighting is like, you're a Jew, you're a Fed. That's basically it. That's basically it. I mean,
They keep it
there's
simple.
probably...
You got to respect the simplicity.
It's simpler. Leftist infighting is like wall of text. Right-wing
much
infighting
text.
is you are Jewish. So that's basically what's going on. Yeah. So the infighting there sure there's infighting within every group. But that's just sort of a broad overview of what's going on. But I mean, I can take this back to the sort of observation that I'm making here.
Yeah.
Which is everyone here, even though they're very far right culturally, and a lot of these people, have negative. I mean, basically everyone here doesn't like Jews.
Sure.
Which is sort of the hard line for separating yourself from am I hard right
Well,
or
would
am
you put like
far
Aiden
right?
Ross in this?
That's a good question. So I'm not super familiar with the streaming world, to be honest. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance,
Sure.
actually, and you seem like a very cool guy. But I'm a YouTuber, right? So I'm very familiar with the
Oh, the
YouTube
huge
world.
difference.
Yeah, very different. Yeah, sorry. But maybe you would be better at telling me this. So like, Aiden Ross is Jewish. But he is like sympathetic to someone like Fuentes.
Yeah, I want to bring up two clips here that I wanted to just show to you and see if they poke a hole. Because okay, so the general idea of this is it's a group of people, or it's like you're basically saying there's a far right online movement that is more concerned with, consolidating state power on the enemies, consolidating state power on against enemy press outlets.
Yes.
And less concerned with like racial superiority, like in a way that like the Nazis might have been or whatever.
Yes,
That's the idea.
it's absolutely distinct from the Nazis, I would say. I did put a swastika in the background there, but
yeah, thank you. You've ruined my
think-
monetization for this video.
Yeah, sorry about that. But I mean, hey, my video is monetized, so I guess Twitch is a more difficult situation. But yeah, show me.
Here's the clip.
It's fundamentally different from the Nazis, yeah.
Okay, here's the
And
clip.
I can get into like the material conditions as to why that is later, but yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can find it. Okay, well, I'll link it to you. You might have to watch it through your thing, and I'll watch it here, and we'll line up, okay?
Sure.
So how could this guy be any form of fascist? And I want you to watch this clip. Okay? I'm playing it now.
3, 2, 1, go.
What does a fascist mean? It means you are a far right authorization ultra analyst political ideology movement characterized by dictator leadership, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition. So I don't know what that means, bro. I swear to God, I don't know what the fuck a fascism is. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Benito Mazzulli and Giviante Genitale.
That's awesome.
And Jason Stanley. Like, who the fuck are these people, bro? Never heard of my fucking life. What is an example of a fastest?
That's awesome.
So,
that's awesome. Okay.
Does
yeah,
that just blow
brings
a
a lot
hole
of
in your
thoughts to
theory?
mind.
Do you know what I'm saying? Is that
Okay, wait, hold on,
Okay.
relax. First
Okay.
of all,
I don't know. I'm just
you'll
wondering.
notice Aiden Ross is not on that thumbnail.
Okay,
I
all
also
right.
didn't mention Aiden Ross in that YouTube video. I don't know Aiden Ross well enough to make any sorts of judgments about Aiden Ross, and I am also very careful about using the F word, so to speak. Because I'm not the kind of person that's going to call like a moderate conservative a fascist. I'm not going to call a libertarian a fascist. I'm not going to call. I'm not going to unless you are a fascist. I'm not going to call you a fascist. I don't know enough about Aiden Ross to call him a fascist. I also don't think though, and this is kind of an important point. You need to know what fascism is in order to be an appropriate target to call a fascist. And
Speak to that. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Ideology is like to an extent something you believe and something you say, but the other half of it is. Like,
I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you're saying. You're saying they don't need to know what it means. I was saying, I thought you were saying I don't need to know what it means to call someone.
No. I mean, for the purposes of this conversation.
Yeah, you need to know what it means to call someone that. Okay, I see. Yeah, okay.
It's a really loaded term that polarizes
of course.
people, and so I use it very carefully. And I am a political scientist of a sort, and I think like the words do have meaning, and it's very important to use the right words.
I agree. I thought that's why. Oh, again, one of the reasons I like this video is I thought you made that caveat, which is that you don't throw it around all the time, and that it is kind of earned in this case. But it has this weird quirk, at least from the way we understand it generally, that it's somewhat post-racial. One more clip. I mean, you've disavowed Aiden Ross, so my clips are now no longer hitting. I thought he was part of this for some reason, but I had one more clip.
I didn't disavow Aiden Ross. I literally
no. I mean, you disavowed him from this. He's not part of this.
I don't even think I'm not even gonna say he's not a fascist. I'm just saying I don't know. I mean, do you wait? Hold on. Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me as many questions as you want.
Do you think what do you like? Do you think he's a fascist, or do you think he's like adjacent to fascists?
Oh no, I don't know Aiden Ross either.
Okay.
I have two clips here. What I think is how this connected with my understanding of the world is that there is a group of like very online streaming content, YouTube related people who I don't think who would all call themselves vehemently anti-racist. They would say they're not, racism is not a part of their philosophy in any way, but are deeply right-wing. Right. And I could see that bubbling up. Right. And I would assume that Aiden Ross is part of that. That would be my guess. And he's just the biggest. I think of him because I am less in the weeds. Like I've never seen any content from Nick Fuentes. I've never heard him speak. I don't know what he talks like, but I have seen when he's president.
He's breached containment. In the next like 6 months, you'll be hearing a lot about him.
Okay. He's breached containment is the way I put it. But yes. The idea that this is truly post-racial in any way, I wanted to put one more clip up to get your thoughts on it. And we'll go through all four of your things, all the different ones. So here's the next clip.
Yeah.
Again, unfortunately, also from Aiden Ross, but I was looping him in because I think he would find common ground with like a Sneeko or part of this group, right?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And here's the clip, and it is recent. Here we go. And I just want you to tell me if this feels post-racial. This is from Livestream Fail a few days ago, talking about his community, okay? Because Kai was saying he doesn't want to go on Aiden's stream because he might be insulted by the chat. Okay? 3, 2, 1.
Cool. Count me down.
Yeah,
right,
3, 2, 1, go.
This month I said, bro, if you ever need something, I got your back online. I said, respect.
Oh, no.
In real life, I got you, bro. But when it comes to this content shit, I'm not in the mental state to be in front of your niggas. As soon as a nigga of color hop onto the stream, it's straight watermelon and gorillas, nigga. I'll watch.
I just wish he didn't say that, though. I really wish he didn't say that as soon as there's somebody with color on your stream. We don't have to make this about race at all. We don't have to make this about race at all. Like, there's no reason to do that at all. I get what he's saying. Like when there's somebody with color on their stream, they spam monkey and watermelons and stuff. When there's a Jew on stream, they'll spam the craziest shit in my chat. When there's a Mexican on stream, they'll spam shit in my chat. When there's a Chinese person on stream, they'll spam my shit in my chat. It's not just one specific race, guys. It's every fucking race. Kick is like the fucking Adult Swim.
I mean, I think that's a very good clip to show. Actually.
Yeah, right. I think it sort of embodies what you're saying, but I think it also kind of undercuts the reality of it.
Right. Okay. So let me be really clear.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Overton window shifting, right? When we're talking about post-racial fascism, we're sort of talking about a middle ground between, say, where Trump is, and then where like a racial fascism is. And you can imagine Trump sort of pulled the Overton window into the right. Straight up white nationalism and white supremacy is still outside of the Overton window. Like racial fascism, like if anyone's trying to make that point, no one's going to take that seriously. That's beyond the pale. But the sorts of points that these characters are making, they're like it's like not quite that extreme, and it's partially not quite that extreme because of material circumstances in the West, but it's not post-racial fascism is sort of just an observation of like where things are right now, and I'm not suggesting it's a tenable coalition.
Sure.
So that's kind of a really important point. The question that we're going to see over the next decade is how tenable is a post-racial fascist coalition. So Benito Mussolini was the founder of fascism, and he wrote on fascism and what he thought about fascism. And his idea was he has this quote race is 95% a delusion. And so this is the guy that invented fascism.
He was the Aiden Ross of his day, right? He was like
now in these circles, so like if you look at some of these types, like a Bannon type, who often speaks to how an American hyper-nationalism will be good for all the races, Mexicans, blacks, whites. That sort of rhetoric is super post-racial. It's like we're not going to try to make this just work for white people. We're going to make this work for everybody in the nation. And you can still do fascism like that. It's never been done on a really big scale before like that, so it's just very interesting to like kind of watch it.
Okay.
But you look at someone like Bannon and you look in those circles, because that is even further to the right, like that's on the right side of the Overton window right now. You see peaks of actual like straight up white nationalist or even like other kinds of nationalist, like racism basically. Also in these circles, they're also very comfortable with racism. All these people are racist against Jews. I should just point that out. So post-racial fascism, it's kind of like it's by nature very tenuous. I could see it working. I could see it being like a solid coalition, and I almost think like the reason it could be a solid coalition is just because the West is so mixed. Like America is mixed. It's not like Europe. It's not like Europe 100 years ago where you had a huge swath of the same ethnic group together,
yeah.
and you could just get rid of 2% of the population. It's everyone.
It's deeply mixed.
Completely untenable.
Yeah.
It's completely untenable to actually do white nationalism. In Nick Fuentes' heart of hearts, does he want to make a white ethno state? Like, I don't know. Probably, like he probably would. But like, because you're people who live in the world, and we're looking at where we are right now as a culture, as Westerners, as these people would maybe say, or maybe they'd say something else as white people. You got to kind of work where you're at.
Okay.
And so this is sort of there's a lot you could say about this. You could say like a product of liberalism is sort of looking past the individuality of race, and so that's maybe bleeding in a little bit here because it's been the dominant world order for so long. There's a lot of ways you could slice this bologna, and ultimately, all I'm really trying to do is just make the observation here, and
that it's appearing.
Do what they
I
want
think
from that.
okay. So the line I wanted to say before I got caught with tech issues is that what stood out to me about this video, and made me question my own thoughts of the past, is that you mentioned none of these groups that we're going to show today, including this one, have, maybe coalesced into real power now, but it's good looking at them because this is what's probably going to be more important in 5 to 10 years. Like these are the seeds of things that will grow. Some of them will die and some of them will grow into coalitions in 5, 10 years. And I think about that because
these are emerging trends.
Emerging trends. Yeah. Because if we look back 10 years, none of the things that are thriving or in power now, they were seeds then. Like, it fully makes sense that things will change drastically over 10 years. I think that's, 10 years ago, I think Donald Trump, 10 years probably today, Trump walks down the escalator and, everything changes, right? So it's,
I will say every single one of these tribes, while they are emerging and they're on the rise, I should say they're on the rise. They absolutely exist in forms on the internet right now, and they have power in certain administrations. And we can get to that later. But yeah, some people in this administration are younger and they're online a lot. And you could also make a case that when, like, some of the rhetoric that Trump uses, like, we're going to make the place good for Americans and we're going to excise a group and we're going to be really, culturally right-wing or whatever, that could be a post-racial fascist talking point. These people are obviously to the right of Trump and they criticize Trump a lot, especially on Israel. But yeah, you could, there's a lot you could say. The only last thing I'd say about
PRF.
Racial fashion, PRF, is there's this idea called castizo futurism, which I think was like a South American kind of ideology.
A guy named Castizo?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but basically the idea is like it's about sort of like accepting a very mixed society, but like doing your best to work within that society in a fascist way and sort of, over time lighten the skin tone of various people. I know, yeah. I mean, like, South America is a kind of a crazy place sometimes, but yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So the next group that you noticed rising was, I forget what the E stands for, but accelerationists, tech accelerationists. What's the...
Yes. Okay, so the E stands for effective accelerationism.
Effective accelerationism. Yeah.
Sorry. I don't want to mess this up. Okay. Yeah, effective accelerationism. I keep confusing if it's efficient or effective acceleration. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So yeah, effective accelerationism is there's a lot to unpack here. I don't know if you want the whole history of accelerationism or something, but I don't know. Yeah.
I think we have as a chat here, maybe a general idea. I think, the broad strokes of what makes this different, or what you would know, what are the key traits of this group that are rising up? Okay.
So this isn't, I put this in the libertarian, sort of like a new emerging tribe on the libertarian sphere.
It's like a Peter Thiel kind of thing. Is this like a...
Yeah. Okay. So libertarians are really pro-tech right now. And this is like you can think of it as like libertarianism plus modern advancements in technology with the AI stuff that's been going on recently. And when you look at AI and the people who are typically most pro AI, and I don't want to alienate any libertarian anti-clankers who are part of my movement, because I'm trying to get everyone from every political ideology on my side. But yeah, in general, as a stereotype, libertarians are the most pro AI. And you could view a character like Elon Musk on like the border of the post-racial fascism, EAC sort of thing. He'll do a little bit of both.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I want to let you see it. So this stood out to me as, I wouldn't say he's in this, but like some of the things you talked about. You said like these people are probably, of all the groups, the most optimistic. They think they think this will be a good thing. We're headed in the right direction. The tech is going to save us. This reminded me of my friend Doug. I'll just say my friend Doug.
Okay.
He's not, I wouldn't say, not in a bad way in any way, but like this is where he's on the border of, which is that he is more optimistic. He believes tech will be a solution. He thinks that's the right direction. Okay.
Right.
And so, I wanted to, that stood out to me. Is that like maybe the early inklings or something like this, or in his brain. And I wanted to get your thoughts on the more extreme version of it and also where it's headed. Like, is this the one you're the most disagreeable with? Because you seem very anti. Like what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you got me.
Okay.
I can only pretend to be impartial for so long.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't mind. I want to hear it. So tell me more about it. What were your thoughts?
It's a lot of autistic tech bros. It's a lot of basically. So accelerationism. It's basically this idea that it's a way of looking at things that asks the question, what are we making? What are we headed towards? And the reason that the flag there is like it's an exponential curve going upwards.
Yeah.
It's a cybernetic theory. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically like it's a systems theory. A lot of complicated interwoven points making positive feedback loops. And the idea is tech is one of these positive feedback loops, and it's going to go faster and faster and faster and faster. And then you have a lot of variants of accelerationism that kind of speculate as to what that's going to look like. So you've got a left-wing accelerationist might think the tech is going to solve all of our problems and sort of create, like maybe give us all UBI, and we kind of sort of live in like a paradise, and the robots take care of everything we don't want to do. And it sounds good, yeah. And like, I would just, you'd spend your time, maybe you'd spend your money on just human connections and like doing stuff that like benefits you. And we would all like, no one would really have to work anymore. And it all sounds good. It's also seen as the most, by accelerationists, kind of the most ridiculous, unlikely, insane possible way of looking at things. So in the tech world, a much more popular ideology is what you call right accelerationism. And that is, these ideologies were created about 20 years ago, and they sort of developed over this amount of time. But right accelerationism is we are building a higher form of intelligence that will one day replace us. And the flesh is weak, and so we as a species are basically just the bootloaders for a higher force that is emerging. Yeah, and so this is something that I studied, and it sort of informs my anti-Clanker ideology a little bit. But yeah, so those are sort of the two main groups. And then recently, last 4 years or so, out of the this forum called Less Wrong, which is like this very like autistic techie community where effective altruism comes from. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, I know SBF. He's my goat.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, before, I guess after the Sam Bankman-Fried thing, everyone was like, damn, I do not like these effective
Yeah, he really hurt the brand.
And so this kind of emerged a little bit after that. I don't know if there was a huge connection, but it was created by this guy, Beth Bezos. I don't know if he actually created it. There was like a couple of people. Apparently one of them was watching my videos while they were creating it. And they
so
were
you're at fault for the thing you hate the most.
I might be responsible a little bit. They were talking about the interplay of like autism and schizophrenia and how it has to be a meta-ironic ideology. So it basically needs to it's like serious, but it's also a little comedic. And they were trying to basically they use this term hyperstition, which is a phrase in accelerationist circles, where if everyone believes something enough, if everyone believes we're gonna create this technology that's going to take us to the next level, then it'll happen. And so my problem with this ideology, and why I'm against it, is because it's basically just right accelerationism. And this is like an older ideology, but it's like an outgrowth of right accelerationism. If you ask an effective accelerationist what the humans are going to look like in this future that they're imagining, they don't have a good answer. And because they don't have a good answer, you sort of have to assume what they're talking about isn't a human.
Right.
It's going to be really, really good for a lot of robots. It's going to be really, really good for maybe your intelligence uploaded onto a computer.
Okay.
And that's the extreme variant. And I think on a more moderate variant, like maybe what Doug believes, it's just kind of like, if he falls into this camp, I would probably give him the benefit of the doubt and say he thinks it's going to solve a lot of problems, reverse climate change.
That's what he thinks.
Live longer. Yeah, so I guess this is sort of like a leftist critique probably, but I guess the critique is, without the fundamental systems that technology exists in being changed at all, there's no reason to assume that technology is going to be good for us. You could make some sort of market, sort of trickle down argument about things, the technology gets invented and then everyone becomes immortal. That remains to be seen, and to be honest, that's kind of just a matter of personal.
Sure, I think he's, I don't want to speak for him. In fact, I shouldn't even have included him. I don't want it to be, especially if this is a more negative thing. I just wanted to, I think what he would say, if I was trying to channel it, is less so much about the future you're talking about, which seems really far away, which is like this transhumanist, upload yourself to the cloud, and more of like the interim decades, I think, where you can create so many things at such a lower marginal cost that we could all have a lot more. Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm someone. I don't think that's a horrible take. I actually don't think that's like an insane thing to believe. I think there's a good case to be made that if you look at how we have pretty state of the art tech right now, and it's affordable to most people. You could certainly make a case, and there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening with AI and medical science and learning things about the world.
We're not going to figure it out. What I think what was interesting about it, because here's one thing that possibly you believe, but I certainly believe, and I want to get your gut check on it, is I'm starting to feel that how you sort yourself into any one of these groups we're going to talk about, or any of the other myriad groups, is really vibes based. It's very vibes based, and it's very based on other people in it, and how it's like based on what kind of group you see yourself in. And I think there's a lot of less people weighing the different merits of these different philosophies, and more and so I think the word that you used about this one was that it was optimistic, and I feel like people are being funneled, certain people are being funneled into this thing because it's one of the few that is still remaining optimistic, even if it's
I think yeah, that's a really, really good point, actually. A lot of politics is vibes, and if you're looking around the political spectrum and you're like, damn, one side is saying the West has fallen, the other side is saying capitalism is destroying the planet. There's only one group here, really, that's like, things are awesome. We're going to Mars. We're going to colonize the stars. We're going to live forever. We're going to have perfect lives. Like, that's, in terms of branding, they have the best branding. And that's why I am sort of bullish in this taking off even more. And that's why this is also an emerging political project.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Do better and better, just like the rest of them.
Okay, so here's one that I wanted to bring up. Reactionary centrism. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I might fall into this. We'll see. You can help define it for me, but this might be me. Or at least I could.
That makes sense.
I could see it when you were talking about it, or at least I'm an early stage of it. So I don't even know this guy in the middle, by the way. Actually, I don't know. Is this Ben Shapiro?
No. Okay. So in the middle is my mentor, J.J. McCullough. On the left, it's Hawes, Infrared Hawes. He is a kind of a Nazbol streamer. He's like a right-wing communist. It's kind of hard to explain. He's like imagine a communist that says a lot of slurs. Okay, and then Fuentes. And then that's Fuentes on the right, who
that's Nick Fuentes. Okay, well, he does like Ben Shapiro.
Remember this conversation in 6 months and be like, oh yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so my understanding, as you described this, was a group that feels that the Overton window is being pulled so far in both directions. Everyone getting more radicalized. That this group is like desperately trying to hold on, pulling it back, like just
perfect analogy. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly
just trying
right.
to grab. Okay.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier. Trump pulled the Overton window to the right. There's more than one Overton window. We're actually living in like societies where the worlds that we live in are rapidly.
Can you explain the Overton window for people? People are asking in chat, and I just realized we didn't define it.
Yeah, sure. I'm assuming too much. The Overton window is basically the middle. If you imagine like a political compass, it's in the middle of the political compass. If you imagine like the range of things that are acceptable to talk about. So 20 years ago, being I just told you there's a communist that says slurs. Mm-hmm. Both being a communist and saying slurs was outside of the Overton window 20 years ago. Okay, that wasn't happening. I wouldn't be on a talk show talking about an Nazbol.
Someone said like, I don't know how to draw it, but like maybe, it's like this window of things you're allowed to say, if this is like left to right, and like maybe this right here would be maybe gay marriage for a while, and then the line moved over here and you could say it, or something like that. It's like things that if it's not in the window, it's considered like out in poor taste to even bring it up or talk about it.
Right.
But it feels to me, as part of this reactionary centrism, like there is no Overton window. The internet has kind of blown the whole idea of an Overton window out. And you can say whatever you want and you'll find an audience. Like the idea that there's like a publicly acceptable list of things you can say doesn't even matter anymore. In fact, saying things in the middle is almost boring because you don't get an audience. There's no audience for that.
Correct. The incentive structure of the internet and just the way that the internet works, where ideas go from brain to brain very quickly, no friction, that is a great place for extremism. And that's why I talked about extremism on my channel as an internet person, as someone who is like, spends a lot of time on the internet and someone who at the time believed the internet would play a big role in shaping how these ideologies emerged. And, the stuff I was talking about 6 years ago is basically happening currently.
Sure.
I agree with your analysis there. I think that's true. And to go to your point of like the Overton window expanding, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if like literally everything is like, just because you can say something doesn't necessarily mean people are going to take it seriously. I think the Overton window is sort of a signal of, will I take this seriously? Is this being represented in any way in politics, in like
the halls of
politics?
power?
Yeah, in the halls of power. Like,
Okay.
you can say anything and it'll get an audience. But I wouldn't, like, there's an ideology called ephilism, right? It's like it's like very extreme antinatalism. And it's like, not only should no one have kids, but I'm going to actively end life. It's a terrorism ideology, basically. That there are no ephilists in government. There are no people who are whispering in Donald Trump's ear saying everyone needs to die. The voluntary human extinction movement is not a real thing. So that's something I would say is outside the Overton window. Even with all these things taken into account of like, so I would say the way I sort of describe it is the Overton window is split in two and is shifting to the left and right simultaneously. And what used to be in the middle, where you, Atrioc, might find
myself,
is now outside of the Overton window.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. Again, I'm throwing all my friends under the bus, but I wanted to pull an example of someone I really think hit your points. Did I have an image? This is my friend. Wait, where the hell did I put the image? Here it is. This is my friend, Nathan Stans. Okay, this is Stans. You can see him here.
Yes.
And it's funny, I was in a car ride with him the other day, and we were just talking about life in the world. And he said, I'm not kidding, maybe 3 or 4 exact phrases that you used to describe this group in your... And I think the one that stood out to me most was like, you wanted to get back to a world where the average person didn't have to care about, and I think that was an exact phrase you used. Like they were both fighting for the right, the center left and the center right are both fighting for the right of the average person to no longer have to care about. And so, I don't know that I would fall that specific spot, but the idea that everything is getting more radicalized, I do think is just true. And it's something that I personally find a hard time fitting myself into. Let me see if I can pull up in the PowerPoint again. However, what I would take,
that's very interesting.
You mentioned these as like growing groups, but I sort of feel like this group is getting crushed. Like this group is
okay.
Okay.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. So yes, they're all. I would. It's called political meta update. So I would say this is an update to liberalism. This is an update to centrism. Are you familiar with Destiny? Do you know that guy?
Yeah, I know of him.
Yeah, so he's a streamer. He'll say stuff like, he will fight Hassan with equal intensity as he will fight someone like Donald Trump. Because the way he sees it, there's like a far left and there's a far right, and they both hate liberal democracy. 10, 15 years ago, if there was a fascist or a communist saying, I'm going to overthrow the government, the liberals wouldn't even talk to those people. Like, it's not important. It's not like that poses any real threat. No one believes that. It's outside the Overton window. Now, because the Overton window has sort of drifted to the left and the right, they have to engage with this, and they have to be like, oh shit, there's a lot of like threats to liberalism right now. We're surrounded by enemies on the left and the right, and we have no choice but to sort of react to the extremism that we're seeing in order to create a world where we can kind of go back to normal or whatever. And so it's a lot more conscious. Like before, you'd be like, shut up, that's just the way things are. now you have to justify why things are the way they are. And actually, I would probably argue that that is a good thing. Like, we shouldn't just take for
Yeah, it
granted
doesn't seem
that
bad.
all the ways. Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't take for granted that all the ways that we've been doing things before are the ways that we should still be doing things. We can't just like wave our hands away and be like, no, there's actually no problems right now, because there's all kinds of
Oh,
problems.
and they're
Like,
getting
the
worse.
left and the
I
right-
agree. Yeah.
they're getting worse, and the left and the right are both pointing to very real problems that people are having. And so I think this has been a good development for liberals and centrists. I think that like having to explain the why the way things are the way they are. Like, I think a lot of the reason extremism thrives is because no one explained to them why we do things, and so it just seems like this completely like insane. Like, what are we
Arbitrary.
doing? Like, this guy, yeah, it feels very arbitrary. So yeah, I think that this is a good development, in my opinion, because even if liberal centrism survives the next 15 years, even if we are still, a mostly middle class, consumer based society, I think that because there's these threats to liberalism, almost like a virus or something, it's gonna have to fight it off, and it's like the liberalism of 15 years from now is gonna have to be different because something has to change. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a big extreme uprising where a bunch of people die, but it might be like, hey, I don't know, like we do a UBI, we do land value tax. There's lots of like radical centrist ideas that might have to emerge.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's-
we make taxes easier, like.
Yeah. Okay. Then I am in this group. Like, pretty
Yeah.
much exactly. Yeah, that's how I see it. So, but I just think maybe it's a little hopeful. You know, maybe I'm being the doomer here, but I find that to be, I think when trend lines start moving in a direction, it's hard to stop it without a bigger event. So we'll see. But I think that's a fair point, and I think the way you pointed this out was pretty. This one made me laugh because I found it to be true. You know, it's like 10, 20 years ago, the most bitter enemy of the center right was the center left, or the center left, and vice versa. And now they
They're
they
like,
have
this
to
guy sucks.
they have to like handshake on 90% of things because they're fighting the larger polarization around them. Like, someone would be, compared to a Donald Trump, most people would take a Mitt Romney in this group. They would be like, but
Yes.
before they would have bitterly fought Mitt Romney to the death. You know, the idea is
Exactly.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. I guess the only thing else I'd say on that is like, the example I use is my mentor, J.J. McCullough, is a conservative. He is a center-right Canadian conservative, and when he talks,
What are
to
they
somebody,
conservative
like,
about in
who's
Canada?
centered-
What is?
Oh, just like less taxes and liberals are bad. But it's very, like the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party historically have been very, very close to each other ideologically, right? So it's
Okay.
like, it's not a big deal. But like, yes, he's center right and he votes conservative, and he talks to Destiny, who's center left, more of like a social democrat type, and they like agree on everything because they're not threats to each other anymore. The threats are the edges now. And so that's kind of the example I would sort of use to illustrate that. Like Mitt Romney and Obama have a lot more in common with each other than, AOC and Fuentes. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. That tracks. By the way, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you're, I guess I would be worried for your content in the future because every one of these political problems is being hashed out and figured out in my chat right now. The Socrateses of the world have debated everything and I think figured it out. They've all put it together, and they're huge paragraph length typing that no one else cares to read.
Never stop thinking and talking about politics. The more you do, the more it feeds me.
They've really truly solved it. Okay, here is the next one. The next group that you brought up was called the Balkanized Left. A reference to the Balkan states, which are all fractured and have a ton of infighting. So you've put different content creators' faces on missiles and jets and countries, and they are all just trying to kill each other. And I would love to hear more about this. How is this group doing right now, or what's their growth?
Yeah, so leftist infighting is nothing new. It's kind of like a meme.
Sure.
The characters I have on here, I'm sure you're familiar with Hassan and H3H3. What's going on with them?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, my understanding is that there's a a big holy war between Destiny, Hassan, and H3H3. That is my understanding. Okay.
Look, I don't know anything about Israel Palestine. I only know I get all my information about that through Hassan H3H3 drama. There's like there's Hassan Moss and H3 Israel or something. I don't really know. I don't keep up with geopolitics.
No,
okay?
yeah, it's not nearly as fun. Okay, so that's actually my understanding of this group. I don't even remember exactly what you said in the video, but my understanding of this group is it's a bunch of people who really care about streamer drama and are using geopolitics as a lens to constantly engage in that. They don't really care about geopolitical changes. That is a cover for a real deep care about the interpersonal streamer drama of a bunch of people. That is what it feels like to me, because so much of the discussion is about the personalities of the people.
Right. It's very strange. It's like if you like opened up a gossip magazine and then like on page 7 there was like a horrible conflict where tens of thousands of people are being killed. And it's like, this is content. Why is this? But like and they're aware of this, and also on the more principled left, you'll have a lot of people who are like, I am using the drama slop content to inform people about Palestine, right? Like that's kind of the way that they do things. This thumbnail here is a little bit misleading, honestly, because Destiny and H3H3 are what I would call center left. Vosh is like libertarian, very far libertarian left, like a libertarian socialist who would be on the green quadrant. Hassan is like arguably approaching the red, the authoritarian left. He's a much more of a what you would call a tanky than the rest of these guys. So they all have very fundamental ideological disagreements between them. But I just sort of use this to illustrate, like, all of these people would just define themselves as some sort of leftist or liberal. And H3H3's case, probably now, he probably would mostly just call himself like a liberal or a social democrat or something. And these people all hate each other. Every single one of these people hate each other. No, you can draw no positive line between any of these people. And part of this, I think, is because like when being a political streamer, like, man, that seems like it's real brain rot and really.
Oh yeah, the worst, probably the worst people in the world. If you talk about politics on stream, you are, I would say, scum. That's what I would say.
I mean, I've met a lot of political streamers. I've met a lot of these people, and yeah, it's like it rots your brain, and it sort of makes you really defensive and really aggressive. And
I don't think it has to. I was making a joke on myself, my own expense, but I don't think it has to. I don't think it has to rot your brain. Maybe
political streaming.
Maybe I'm. I do some political streaming. Is what I'm saying. And my brain is rotted. So I guess your correlation is very strong. But I don't know that it has to become so. Okay.
I'm kind of curious, because I think you're the only streamer I have met so far that I like.
Oh, that's good. This is a really high honor.
But that's probably, I mean, to be fair, I think that's probably just because every streamer I've met has been a political streamer, which is like only politics all the time, and it's very caustic.
Oh, sure.
So I'm curious what you do to like not rot your brain when you're talking about politics.
I skip a lot of streams. Very inactive.
Interesting. Honestly, I think it's something about doing it all day, every day, 12 hours a day. I think
it definitely is the hour. The hours could definitely do it. You got to fill 8 hours versus 2.5 to 3. Then you have a lot more you got to go through. I don't know. I don't want to. I really, honestly, I think one of the reasons that I don't brain rot is I don't comment on everyone else. So I don't want to do that. Actually, I don't want to get into talking about anybody else. I want to talk about my own thing.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, not to like. But I think the problem is the incentive structure is to do that as much as possible.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
No.
I mean, okay. I would say that I think my viewership is doing pretty good, and I have never done. This is the first even toe in the water I've ever had to discussing another content creator. I don't think you have to do it that way. I think it's easy, and I think it gives you easy views quickly, but I don't think you have to do it.
Okay, I think that's wise words from what I can tell.
And
I don't know if I explained this.
Yeah,
fully.
please. Yeah, sorry. Go for it.
No, I mean, sorry. I'm just like, I'm asking. Do you feel like you get that, or like, do you have any questions?
Well,
on that?
okay. What I would get, actually, I mean, as a group, it clearly really isn't a group. It's a bunch of splinter groups. But I think what you're saying is that all these people would characterize themselves as some form of left, and they're all kind of in the middle of a holy war to be the right version of the left that dominates the online discussion.
I think so I talked about like right-wing infighting and the purity tests on the right, and it's like it's racial and kind of like, are you a Fed? On the left, it's ideological. And so because it's ideological, there's a lot more opportunity for like very, very pure little nations to emerge that, because you have a different opinion on, say, like a geopolitical issue, or if you're like, we'll use capitalism as like a middle ground between socialism instead of just doing a communist revolution, or we want to use the state versus we want to make it more communally operated. All these things create lots of different divides in the left. And so that's probably why I would say the left is more prone to infighting, but the right still infights, and we see the right infight. And also,
maybe it's human. We just love to infight.
We love infighting, and also you just tend to see infighting when a group gets power, because like you see like a big liberal leftist coalition right now against Trump, right? Because they both hate Trump. If the liberal leftist coalition ever won, they'd kill each other, right?
Oh, for sure. That is a good point. That is a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think Trump is a uniter of his opposition in a way that he's united different groups on his side. Honestly, if it's one skill, it's uniting. Okay. The last group, this is this is the scariest one, but also the funniest one. And this is the horseshoe. And you have pictured Thomas Crooks, who was the guy,
Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Thomas Crooks, who attempted to assassinate Trump and had extremely confusing politics, which was that I think he was like Googling, Biden's location. Like he wanted to kill either Biden or Trump or anyone nearby. He was just sort of and I'm sort of describing what you said, but he's a growing group of extremely disaffected young people who are just so, they don't have a political ideology. They're just angry and mad and disenfranchised and, just kind of like wanting to burn it all down. Am I close to where you're at, or give me more detail? Okay.
That's accurate. This is also where I fall.
Really? You're more of like like a League of Legends player. This is.
So this tribe is sort of defined by, these people are almost always like young, and the internet has what I call a schizophrenizing effect on ideology. It pulls it apart, it mixes it together, and it often makes it completely incoherent. This guy Googled the closest person he could kill to him, and then tried to kill him. He would have tried to kill Biden. The only reason he tried to kill Trump is Trump was closer to him. This is like a sort of accelerationist, nihilistic violence, and this is the thing that's being like fed by problems on all sides, and just a general lack of meaning, being disaffected. This is what you get. You get what you deserve, basically. So, yeah.
That's dark. That's depressing.
Yeah, it is dark. It's dark. It's a little spooky, and it is only growing in power. So basically, either the problems get solved, or you just see kind of more of this. I'd actually probably put Haas in here, just because of the what to a liberal person, I should say, would seem like far right cultural views combined with far left economic views. That's like, it seems incoherent. It can be justified. You might put them on the balkanized left, but the horseshoe is best defined by like these. When you see like someone like assassinate a politician, and then it turns out they have like this weird eclectic, like Luigi, like you read his philosophy.
Yeah, he did have a weird philosophy, right? He had like a weird. It was like half libertarian, half. It was like. Yeah, I don't remember it that well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's incoherent. It's kind of internet brain rot. And you'll see this a lot more.
Vaping?
Oh, sorry. No, this is just my Foom. This is my sponsor, Foom.
Is this a plug?
It's a, Foom is a really great product. It helps you get off of vaping. And
you're right here. You're right here, bro. This is all for money.
Yeah, you caught me.
I caught you, dude.
I fall into the market forces. Is there anything else you wanted to cover here?
No, I mean, not particular. I enjoyed talking to you. If you have to go, no worries. I just I thought it was fun. I appreciate you explaining these to people. I think there is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being on here and getting to yap about my fixation. So thank you for having me on.
Oh, no worries. And I'd love to have you on sometime again to talk about the anti-robot movement, because I think that's
please, yeah, I would love to do this.
super
anytime.
interesting.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, if you guys don't know, this is my plug for you, also for your channel. Check out JREG's channel. But you made a video. I hope I can find it. Like early. Yeah, here it is.
Let me begin this video by saying
this is you. Look at you, the cute young man. Look at this. 2 whole years ago.
That was prescient.
Preemptively coming out as a robophobe 2 years ago. This is before ChatGPT. Way out of the discussion window. No one was talking about it. You made this video, and I would say that is prescient. Like, there is something just as a call for the movement. Because I can easily see that the jokes of today will become a real movement of tomorrow. People will be angry and mad about AI and robots infiltrating more of their lives. And you called it really early as a movement. And I think it'd be a fun discussion. We don't have to do it today because obviously you have to go. But,
that's been sort of a theme of my channel for kind of a long time. Oh, sorry, wait 1 second. I dropped my foom. 1 sec.
Okay. Let me bring back.
Fuming. I am fuming, Atrioc. It has been 3 months since my subreddit stream scheme, 1 month since I posted the follow-up, and you have yet to respond.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am sorry. What an incredible transition, though, I gotta say. I am blown away. This is all it took. Welcome to the stream. Wait, what did I miss? I'm so sorry. I really would have to. I listen. I'm bad at all this stuff.
Yeah, I know you don't check your subreddits.
I don't check my subreddits. It's filled with. Okay.
A few months ago, you had that whole subreddit review thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, as one does, I thought, wow, some guerrilla marketing attempts, opportunity.
You
here.
uploaded Spoon Trioc.
No, I wish. That is an iconic meme. I actually told Greg, please, you got to compliment him on his iconic Spoon Trioc meme. It's he's going to love it.
Is that a crack pipe you're holding?
It's an oil burner, okay? My mom, when she asked about it, I told her, no, Mom, it's marketing, it's engagement.
What kind of den of political sin are you guys living? Do you guys live together?
No, I actually live in an abandoned factory about 3 kilometers from here.
I've opened up a weird portal to Canadian politics that I've...
What, politics? No. I'm a former private equity guy.
I see. Okay.
Do business, finance,
Okay, well then you're much more my speed.
Yeah, right on.
Honestly, yeah, JREG was talking my ear off about Nick Fuentes stuff I don't understand. I want to talk about private equity.
Yeah, I mean, anytime. I don't want to interrupt your stream tonight if you got.
No, if you could just link me the video, I will watch it and then I will catch up on what's going on.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you go on your subreddit, there's Atrioc will pay for this transgression 2 weeks ago. That gives you enough context.
Gives me no context. Makes me scared.
Yeah, you should be.
Okay. Well, yes, I will do that. Thank you. And I hope you didn't lock up or kill JREG. Tell him thank you as well for joining the stream.
Yeah, I mean, JREG, Wow Mao, and if you don't watch a video, you're next in Minecraft.
I appreciate that. Nice meeting you.
All right, thank you.
Take it easy.
Nice meeting you.
How do I close? Well, that was fun. I have to watch the video. I don't necessarily know who that is, but they seem very nice, and I would love to talk to them. Where's the fucking video? Let's just watch right now, and then I'll catch up. Plague the political compass test. I'm enlightened. Whatever policy that you are, I'm that, but more enlightened. Atrioc will pay for this transgression. This is from Net Loss. That's his name, Net Loss. Net Loss 69. And he is in an abandoned factory. Let's do a quick check on who that was.
Atrioc subreddit, a little, you know, a subreddit stream scheme, so to speak, a little ploy where
Why are you holding a gun?
I definitely didn't buy upvotes. That would be illegal on Reddit, okay? But maybe I went on an upvote shop, so to speak. Who knows? And maybe I spent $50 to buy.
What have I gotten myself into? Also, same outfit that you were wearing 2 months later when you hijacked JREG stream. What's happening? What's happening? You have like a
500 upvotes, just enough to guarantee I'd be in his weekly stream. And yet, when Atrioc went and recorded it, he saw it, he acknowledged it.
The next Atrioc. Haven't heard him say Glizzy yet, but this net loss guy seems pretty Atrioc coded. His name is definitely not net loss.
But there was no video to follow. In fact, he stopped doing that week. So it was all for nothing. I spent $50 for nothing. But he said, okay, I'm going to watch some net loss videos on stream. We'll look into it. And then this Sunday, okay,
Did
I'm
I
watching.
say that? Hey, dude, I sit in my room, I talk about it. Wait, this was your video? Wall Street is buying YouTubers? Oh, that was a great video. Wait, am I crazy? Let me check. Wall Street is buying YouTubers. There was a video that I wanted to watch because no, that was from Micro.
If you spend long enough on...
That wasn't from you. What are you taking? You didn't make that video. I was like, that's a great video. I don't have 800 writers or staff or cameramen or office space. You know, you get the same, or you get less. The chance of me going broke off it or up is so small because my costs are so low. I just keep them so crazy low. My hair not pretty up there. This was 4 years ago, so it's worse now.
I have a video perfectly on this subject. Atrioc, you said you watched my shit.
Okay. Maybe we'll check it out and get some Saturday. Maybe.
You promised!
I didn't say that. You just wrote it on screen. I didn't say it. I didn't promise shit.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Okay,
You
don't
can't.
want.
You're
to go
in
back on your word
Canada.
with
What you don't understand is you're in Canada. The gun doesn't scare me. I'm gonna get banned holding this on stream.
me, okay? Also, just to be clear, 500 upvotes, $50 theoretically. I'd happen to notice that your wife and you getting married is your top post on your subreddit. Only 3,000 upvotes. That's doable. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. If you don't watch my shit, well, you know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna fucking shoot Weimar. I will do it.
I don't know who.
No, don't do it.
I'll fucking do it.
I've got a life worth living for.
No, you don't. I'll do it. Wait, what are you doing? No,
I don't know who Lao Mao is. All right, well, I'm sorry he died. Oh, they're SIGs and beers. Oh, they're like a group. Oh, that's funny. Well, I unintentionally is that Netanyahu? Is your mystery man Benjamin Netanyahu? Is this a Nelk Boys thing? Oh, Lord. Watch the videos. That's the video I watched. All right. Well, now I know. We'll have to follow up. I've opened Pandora's box, I feel. I think these people are all very funny and talented, but I have opened Pandora's box. I think what this really is, guys, this is all a lesson to teach you about the decay of Canadian society. That's what I was trying to get to. The whole point of this was to tell you that Canada has failed its young people, okay? And they are becoming insanely brain-rotted, insanely radicalized. They're walking around with guns inside of factories. It's as opposed to thriving U.S. democracy. That's right. Exactly. Thank you for saying that. 6 seconds left post credits. There's a post credits of a Reddit short. Okay, where did I put this?
Also, if you're in Toronto this weekend, come smoke beer and drink darts with us at Trinity Bellwoods Park, 4 p.m. Sunday.
They
See you
call them
then.
darts. There was no
So
there was no post credits. My chat, you're gonna make me crash out. Anyway, that was very fun. Thank you to NetLoss and to JREG and to Weimar for, I guess, dying for the content. But JREG especially for coming on the stream. I asked him on kind of short notice. I didn't know much going in, and I thought he was a lovely conversationalist. I think that's not the the style. It's kind of foreign to me, that way of covering politics, but I thought it was interesting and fun and worthwhile because it hits parts of the internet that I have no fucking idea I understand about. So cool. And now I think is the time that we should all increase our IQ through the magic of YouTube. As he mentioned, Twitch is brain rot, but YouTube, that's an entirely different thing. That's so different. And we can use the magic of YouTube to sharpen our neurons collectively through a segment called Get Smarter Saturdays. Get Smarter Saturdays. GSS, baby. It's back and it's better than ever. You have to follow 3 simple rules to be a part of Get Smarter Saturdays. Rule number 1, the video cannot be too long. Rule number 2, the video cannot be too boring. Rule number 3, at the end of the video, we collectively have to have learned something. Welcome to GSS. Post your link in the chat. It'll show up right here. Oh, it'll show up right here, and we will pick them, and then we will collectively watch them, and we'll all get smarter. And if we do this week in and week out, we're going to be Einstein in no time. Ludwig completely misunderstood me, says Hank Green. The world's first chat GPT poisoning. Oh, it's kind of long. I assume this is someone who tried to poison someone with chat GPT and vibe medicined it and got a poison that didn't work. But I don't know if I want to watch 60 Minutes for that. Expedition 33 is a wake-up call for the gaming industry. Absolute peak. Okay. Gamers Nexus was detained by a government and probably blacklisted by NVIDIA for our next investigation. That seems kind of interesting. Let's fucking run that. Tirzu vouched?
We've been investigating the
If Tirzu vouched for it, I'm in. Gamers Nexus. So, full caveat here. I'll say it. As a former global consumer marketing manager at NVIDIA, in charge of the gaming, I had to interact with these groups, not just Gamers Nexus, but other YouTubers. And I'm assuming that they don't have an incredibly positive vision of NVIDIA or their marketing team. But I also worked 7 years at Blizzard. I don't talk about it very much, but I did. Oh, you vouched for the other video? Well, I'm already in. We'll start this. I'm still a manager. I need to change off of this.
We've been investigating the NVIDIA GPU black market in China for the last 3 weeks, and this is our biggest story yet. And also, I may or may not have been detained for an extended period of time for questioning at customs by one of the 2 governments involved in relation to getting this story. But I've been advised not to talk about that today. Also, we might upset NVIDIA.
Okay, interesting.
Again. So this story is pretty crazy because we found and spoke to smugglers, middlemen, and users
of
so-called AI GPUs, which have been banned by the United States government for sale into China. And in a world first, we got several of these people involved in the chain of fueling this black market of GPUs to go on camera and talk about either selling them or using the cards.
Interesting. Little context going in if you don't know. NVIDIA makes the latest and greatest, best AI GPUs, used for AI training. Everyone wants them. They're banned from being sold in China by both Biden and Trump administrations. So they're often smuggled into Singapore and other countries and then go into China because they want them. However, because it's kind of hard to smuggle the amount of demand they need, it is creating demand for homegrown Chinese alternatives. China is propping up companies to make their own NVIDIA competitors, and Chinese companies buy some of those as well. And recently, I don't think it's going to cover it. This is probably more about the smuggling. Well, I guess we'll see. Let's get to it.
As recently as a day ago, the US government arrested 2 Chinese nationals for smuggling GPUs past US borders for export into China to be sold on the black market. We're making a full-length movie about all of this, and we need your help. In this story, we spent 2 weeks traveling over 2,300 miles, or 3,700 kilometers, inside China to talk to those in the know.
This is a cool
We then
effect.
spent a week in Taiwan to find intermediary companies. We worked with this guy in Huizhou, known as Mr. 5. And we asked him this question.
你觉得 NVIDIA 知道
这个是当然知道的，但是就是它是怎么说呢？睁一只眼闭一只眼。
Open one eye, turn a blind eye.
This was the exact same idiomatic proverb given by 2 other middlemen in Shenzhen.
Do you think NVIDIA knows? Do they try to stop it?
就是他是这样。
First of all, I didn't know you could speak Chinese. White guy orders NVIDIA GPUs in perfect Chinese. Shocks everyone. Yeah, that makes sense. NVIDIA has every incentive not to question why someone's buying extra amount of GPUs in Singapore or Taiwan. You know, they of course they're not going to like turn down the business. But what changed recently is it's now above board to sell in China. Jensen Huang went to Trump and got the restrictions removed, but they have to pay a 15% revenue tariff straight to the US government on every GPU sold. And so now NVIDIA can sell the latest and greatest GPUs directly to China. However, the second they did that, China went around to all the companies and said, you can't buy them anymore. China put up their own restriction because the US restriction was actually helping them. It was helping them get customers for the homegrown Chinese versions. So it's strange. It's a strange spot to be in. However, the NVIDIA ones still are the best. And without getting too in the details, too in the weeds, there's a software layer on top of the hardware called CUDA. And CUDA has no equal right now. You can get a chip that's like you can't even get one that's good, but you can get a chip that's almost as good basically as good from AMD, but it doesn't have CUDA. It can't work with CUDA. So because CUDA is the way people interface to create, deep learning training and AI and ML, the chips aren't worth as much. And that's why I believe, just to cut in one real breaking news story, China's first in-house alternative to CUDA just emerged like 2 months ago. Like just now. Here. Let's... there's a lot of like push on the China side to break the CUDA moat, to create their own software that goes on top of the chip layer that they can then get out of having to use NVIDIA chips. They haven't done it yet, but there's like a lot of push for it. Which is like a big major story happening right now in the background of the world. All right, let's watch the rest of this video. Gamers Nexus. Where did I put you? Gamers Nexus. Here it is. Okay.
They agreed to let us record the conversation, but said we couldn't show their faces.
可以，就是 just can't show their face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and our company name.
In Hong Kong, we visited Dr. Vinci Chow's hand-built server
Dr.
at the Chinese
Vinci?
University of Hong Kong, a user and purchaser of GPUs which are now export controlled.
I mean, but it's supposed to be banned, right?
Yes.
But you can just buy it retail in a store.
As I said, it's not illegal to buy.
Right.
But I guess what's surprising me is how easy it is to buy them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw a story about this too. Like, it's supposed to be illegal, right? But the where is it? Yeah, here's the story. There's a massive repair industry in China for chips that are supposedly not allowed to be sold there. It's like if you weren't allowed to sell iPhones in America, but on every street corner there was an iPhone repair store. That's weird, right? It's like very it's just there's a ton of stores offering to repair and fix and update your NVIDIA AI GPUs, but they're not allowed to be sold there. It's just it's very Lord of War. It's very it's kind of like weed legalization in America. Yeah, exactly.
The right price.
We met with a dealer of smuggled GPUs in Huaqiangbei who told us just how easy it is to get these supposedly banned GPUs in China by walking us across the street to introduce us to his suppliers.
That's crazy. This is real journalism, by the way. Good for them. This is cool. This is fucking cool. They're going out on the street in China and talking to actual people involved in the trade.
Does he need to make any trips to SEG to buy stuff that we could potentially go with him for? You know what I mean? Like if he has any need to go to Saigo to buy stuff, would he be interested in us following him to accompany him?
Yeah.
If you could find a soft way to present that, I guess.
His cousin made tea and told us about the integrated circuit supply business, which fuels memory modules to people like this guy, Brother John.
你在这里有48 GB 的4090吗？我们可以现做。
They can make one right now.
Okay.
Make one?
Okay. Hey, cool.
Brother John takes defective NVIDIA PCBs and extracts the GPU while adding new memory modules to create high VRAM capacity GPUs like 4090s and possibly soon 5090s that not only aren't supposed to be sold to China according to the US, but aren't even official SKUs from NVIDIA. And they're in high demand.
This is my job at NVIDIA. That's what I used to do. I used to do this in my garage. That's how I would.
And for AI servers.
So what did he say? Sometimes people buy like 10 or 20 at a time or something?
He gets a 10 or 20 orders at a time. Yeah, for AI.
Yeah.
Running like language, running models or.
We were also guided around Dongguan by a guy who called himself the Chinese Eminem. We then realized the best way to understand how GPUs get in and how this black market works would be to buy a GPU which was smuggled into China. So we wired thousands of dollars.
Steven.
Yes.
Is this Steven?
Yeah, how's it going?
Oh my god. Alright, you ready? I'll help you here.
Yeah, so I've got $3,289 going out.
Perfect.
And they're banked.
Okay.
You'll find out if that worked in the full-length movie we're making. For this story, no more anonymous sources say bullshit that you see in all the big publications. We spent months finding people to go on record and on camera. So, this story is special, but to finish the story, we need your help. We're launching our own version of a Kickstarter that we've linked below to help fund our production budget. This movie has a release date, August 15th, so it's coming out in just a week. To make this as good as we can, we want to
Wait, it happened already. It already happened. It came out. NVIDIA sensitive?
The whole story is fascinating and took us all around Asia, and NVIDIA has been incredibly sensitive about this subject. Months ago, there was a company talking about how GPUs were being smuggled in with lobsters. NVIDIA responded defensively, stating that it'd be better if American companies would focus on innovation rather than making up tall tales about sensitive electronics with lobsters. And we looked into that too. But I gotta save some things for the video. It's interesting further that if you really think about it, a lot of the cards that are banned for sale into China by the US government.
I mean, look, I'll break it down real simple. Something like 15 to 20% of NVIDIA's revenue comes from China. If they are truly banned from selling to China and it truly is cracked down, then it's going to torpedo the company. It's a massive chunk, right? So they're going to do whatever they can to try and get it. I mean, I assume this is recorded before the Jensen-Trump deal, because now they can just do it above board. It's not banned. But, previously it was.
They're made in China. So they can...
What percent of your role at NVIDIA was raising and training lobsters? It was a good amount. I didn't understand why until now. They're always like, Atrioc, you got to raise a bunch of lobsters. You got to set up the lobster shipping. You got to get the boats with a lot of extra cargo space for the lobsters. Wink. And I'm like, why is he winking? It doesn't make any sense to me. Now it all kind of comes together.
Make them, but technically the U.S. says that the companies that have them made
I thought Jensen was
are
just
not
into
allowed
me.
to sell them to China, where they're made. And so we looked into that too, because it's always possible for a card to fall off the back of a truck on its way to a port or something, and that was something we were curious about. The GPU silicon isn't made there, that's made in Taiwan, but the assembly and the making of all the other parts, like the shrouds, the PCBs, most of the VRM components, that tends to be done in China. Most of that is in Huizhou and Shenzhen, which we went to. Speaking of Taiwan, we also hopped over there to spend time.
It is very funny to think that, like, you're going to make the chip in Taiwan, you're going to make the rest of it in China, but you can't sell it to China. It'll find its way there, bro. I don't know how to give it to you. It'll find its way there, bro.
I'm speaking to people in the GPU supply chain for the story. The whole story is just interesting because it's really bizarre and dystopian, and this sort of, it's like a future that we live in now. You'd see it in a movie or something where normally a black market is for drugs or guns or something that you'd think of as really bad in some capacity. So you're definitely not supposed to be able to get, but you can through these illicit means. And yet the people we spoke to as part of this story who are involved in GPU supply into China, where according to the US government, they're not supposed to be able to get a lot of these cards, the people we worked with referred to it as a black market for GPUs, or sometimes a gray market. And at the end of all of this, you have something where you just take a step back and look at it, and it's like, these are video cards that feasibly you could buy for playing video games, a lot of them, 4090s, 5090s, and yes, there's bands of Blackwell, B100, B200, H100, those to A100, the high-end AI GPUs or data center GPUs that wouldn't be for gaming, those are of course on the list too. But the fact remains that cards which we've reviewed and benchmarked in, I don't know, Final Fantasy are so valuable that they get smuggled into another country for sale. And of course, it's for things outside of gaming, but it could be gaming too. And when you look at it through that lens of this...
It's not for gaming. It's not getting smuggled so someone can play Final Fantasy, bro. It is for AI.
This is a thing that we all in our audience know from just a hobby of PC building, and it is so obscenely valuable outside of that hobby that people are willing to risk some kind of fines or potentially detainment or maybe even jail getting it out of places it's not supposed to get out of.
Okay, but just to be clear, China's not enforcing. If you're an AI startup in China who wink, wink, finds some NVIDIA GPUs to make your idea, China's not breaking in and cracking down because you bought NVIDIA GPUs. They have every incentive to not care either. The only person who cares is the American government. Even NVIDIA doesn't care. The only people that care is the American government. So all you have to do is make it above board for them. Everyone else doesn't care. They look the other way.
Because it's so valuable, to then sell it somewhere it's not supposed to be sold. And that makes it fascinating to us. That's why we covered this. So it's a big adventure. Tannen went with me for this. He was the one on the camera and running the audio for that. So just for context, normally, as far as like how...
Oh, I'm going to stop it here because we might watch the full video sometime. Probably not today, but we'll watch the full video. And that'll be fun. It'll be interesting. I'm excited to learn more. Let's see. What other GSS videos do we have? What else could we learn? Ba-da-da-da-da. We are wrong about running declines. Why Warhammer fans love the game. Everyone keeps linking this horse electrolytes. My Mission Impossible. This is a 20-view movie review. You got me a 20-view, 27-minute Mission Impossible movie review. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Man carrying thing is always funny.
Hey, buddy. Hey, do you need some AI? We've got some artificial, generative, all that good stuff. You need some AI.
I own a plumbing company.
That's fine. Do you have an app?
No, we have a shitty Facebook page no one's edited in 5 years. As God intended.
Sure, but AI is rapidly growing and your business will be left behind if you don't jump on the bandwagon early.
Can AI clear shit from a clogged toilet?
AI could write the invoice. Ah, fuck it, whatever. Forget it. Hey, your company needs some AI, right?
I'm a full-time student and I teach piano on the weekend.
Yes, bro, on that grind set. You know, in 2 to 3 years, AI could be teaching the kids piano and you could own that AI.
What's this guy's problem?
Don't you idiots understand? The U.S. economy is being propped up by an AI tech bubble. Its implementation is overvalued. Companies like mine will crumble if you don't use AI as much as possible. Do you have an automatic customer service chat box? Just call it AI and slap our company logo on there. Please, please, please.
No, go away.
Fine. But if this bubble bursts and the economy collapses, you only have yourselves to blame. I, for one, am doing my part.
That's great. That's fucking great. That's fucking great. It's like Microsoft, dude, just trying to shove Copilot into every single possible thing to justify the cost. You want to use Copilot, right? You couldn't possibly make a PowerPoint slide without Copilot. Okay, what else? This is the net loss video, but I'm looking for something a little more short. This one looks interesting. Why didn't Weimar Germany just default? Simple question. 4 minutes long. What's the tiers you vouch? Is this the tiers you vouch? Default is to not pay your debt. I'm going to watch it. I like history. I like history. I like history, and especially animated history. It makes it cutesy and fun.
World War I, Germany was saddled with heavy reparations. It wasn't long before Germany's economy was in the toilet, its people were suffering massively decreased living standards, and its politicians feared societal collapse. So given how bad things were in Germany, this raises the question. Why didn't its leaders just default on its war payments and try to start over? So, to begin, it won't shock you to know that these payments were not seen as negotiable by the victorious Entente powers.
Right.
The Treaty of Versailles wasn't a contract between equal nations, but a diktat by the victors. And most other nations simply didn't care how it would be paid, so long as it was. It took several years.
Are they gonna, I mean, let's just be real here. Most other it was France, bro. If you read about it, it was France. Everyone else was kind of open to the idea of like, hey, if we make them pay too much, it's going to be impossible. It'll collapse their economy. It'll lead to problems down the road. And France was like, no, they're paying. They're fucking paying. Non-negotiable. They're going to fucking pay. So I just, it was France.
Simply didn't care how it would be paid, so long as it was. It took several years for the Entente powers to come up with a figure, because bickering. France and Italy wanted to crush Germany's economy forever and bury it indefinitely, whereas Britain wanted a smaller figure in the hopes that Germany could then be rehabilitated and become a trading partner. In the end, they compromised and Germany was liable for 132 billion marks, but it was only really expected to pay back 50 billion, which could be paid in cash or in kind, mostly coal, steel, timber, and most importantly, handheld signs. Now, this might seem like the question has been answered. I hope you enjoyed this episode with a special thanks to my patrons, James Bizanet, Sky Chappelle, Cartweets. Just kidding. For the new German president, Friedrich Ebert, and the governments that served under him, their primary objective was to get these payments reduced or eliminated. The first plan was to deliver slightly less than asked, in order to demonstrate the impossibility of repayments to garner some sympathy. Didn't happen, and in 1920 the Entente and Germany held a conference to try and work things out, and the conference came to one conclusion.
That is funny. We owe you 1 million tons of lumber. We're gonna bring you 900,000 and a single tier. Sorry, it's just all we could get. I'm sorry. It's like dude, it's like when you split the bill and someone always pays a little less than their share. You know? When you're out to dinner and someone does it, like Venmo me, and they always, like, they bought $32 worth of food and they Venmo you 25, and it's not enough to be like, hey, I need the extra 7, but it's like, come on, dude. That's Germany, dude. That's fucking Germany.
Germany would pay it back, or else. With this in mind, you'd think that the German government would have done everything in their power to get the reparations delivered, but fun fact, no. Over the next 2 years, delivery of goods were delayed, smaller than expected, and in some cases non-existent. Part of this was down to some of these deliveries being impossible, but in some cases it was willful. The idea was that if Germany could use these resources to build its own economy, it would be better positioned in the future to pay its reparations.
Smart.
This was something that Britain agreed with, but France, Belgium and Italy refused, seeing it as letting Germany off too easily. By 1922's end, Germany had been declared in default 4 times. And in January 1923, Germany defaulted again, but this time it was in terms of coal delivery, which the French desperately needed. As such, France and Belgium invaded and occupied the Ruhr, one of Germany's main coal-producing regions. Losing a part of its industrial heartland was not good for Germany, and when the German Chancellor called for non-violent resistance, its output ground to a halt. The government didn't want regular Germans who were now out of work to suffer, and so those who remained had their wages paid for by the government. This required a lot of money, and so the options were 1. Increase taxes on everybody else. 2. Take the money from another part of the budget, or secret option number 3, just print more. This, in combination with a large increase in spending, led to what the Weimar Republic is best known for, the discovery of rhenium, or hyperinflation.
Yeah!
As you'll know, hyperinflation obliterated the German economy. At the end,
but I think what this video is trying to say, and hasn't got to yet, is that this only was a problem because they were German. And that any other country in the future that wants to try secret option 3 will have a good outcome. It's not like this is a bad idea. You can always have both ways by printing money, and there is no downside.
End of 1923, the government called for an end to passive resistance, issued a brand new currency, and the Entente looked into changing the terms of Germany's reparations to smooth things over. In the end, the Dawes Plan was adopted, and this opened up Germany to foreign credit and investment, which helped the country pay what it owed. This was reformed again in 1929 and 1932, at which point the Entente agreed to forgive 90% of the remaining reparations. And after the next set of elections, the next guy wasn't very interested in paying back anything at all. In the end, Germany paid back roughly 20 billion of the 50/132 billion that the Entente demanded. Meaning that whilst Germany was unable to default, it was able to negotiate its way to paying only a fraction of what was demanded.
There's a lesson in that too, okay? If you owe a bunch of money to Klarna or Robinhood or your bank, just pay as little as possible and drag it out. Make it so painful for them that eventually they'll give up and you'll pay a lot less. Okay? This is the German method. Delay.
Demanded from it. I hope you enjoyed this episode with a special thanks to my patrons, James Bizanet, Sky Chappelle, Kartuitska, Yuduan Wang, Ryan Hockey, Anthony Beckett, Blue Cardinal, Alex Schwinn, Aya Firefly, Spencer Lightfoot, Captain Psydog, The McWhopper, The Flying Deutschland, Gustav Swan, Robert C. Perkins.
Yeah, I think Germany made their final payment on this, like, recently. When was Germany final debt payment? 2010, yeah. Yeah, it was 2010. That's so funny. That's crazy. You can really drag it out. No, that was World War I reparations, not World War II. That was World War I. All right, let's see. Another video. We're learning. Let's see. Japan. What happens if the assassin wins? Assassin did win versus Shinzo Abe. Dr. Dre cooks up a trash beat, 22 seconds.
By the way, I'm never going to be able to do it any better than what they did. This is just my version. That's just a meme. That's Lud in the studio, bro. That's Lud in the stew, bro. Let him cook. XQC in the studio. DJ Toenail? Okay, this is targeted. Preventing balding, what I did before it was too late. I don't need this video. Please don't. Maybe it's for the chat. Oh, there was a new CoffeeZilla top 5 lies in the Epstein footage. When did CoffeeZilla give up crypto and become an Epstein guy? He's all in on Epstein, bro. But I'll watch it. I love CoffeeZilla.
We recreated Epstein.
I trust him. Let's see. We recreated it.
We recreated Epstein's prison in 3D to show you the top 5 lies hidden in the government's footage. And you can get the raw file on Patreon to explore it yourself, and let's jump into it. Lie number 5, you're gonna get a video of the cell.
And you're gonna get the video of the cell. And you're gonna see for yourself.
Kash Patel, the FBI director, told us that this footage was of Jeffrey Epstein's cell, but it's not. Let's fly over to where Epstein's cell actually is. I've marked it with a green door.
Ooh.
Down the hall, we actually see a camera marked in red that wasn't recording the night of Epstein's death, which brings us to our next lie. There was only one camera.
There's a video of him. No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay. There was only one camera.
Deputy Director Dan Bongino of the FBI told us there was only one camera in the special housing unit. But that's not true. There were at least 2 cameras recording and 9 other cameras that were working but not recording due to a malfunction only days earlier. Now, the official report says that recordings should have been made for about half of the cameras, but in Epstein's block, only 2 out of 11 cameras were recording. Really bad luck, I guess. Now, I should say all the cameras were working before that at a time.
I'm going to link this to Aiden right now. I'm sorry. I'm sending this to Aiden right now. Watch this, lib. Guys, I have a sinking feeling that Aiden murdered Jeffrey Epstein, and it's like making me bummed out. It's making me bummed out that my friend might have killed Jeffrey Epstein before he could be brought to justice. I feel like Aiden wanted to cover up Epstein's, what he was about to say on trial. And I think Aiden killed him. And I don't think it was for a good reason. It just kind of makes me feel like kind of some type of way, you know?
Time when Epstein accused his cellmate of trying to kill him, and this was contradicted by his cellmate who said Epstein tried to commit. Epstein later got put on watch for this event, and we should have been able to get that footage, except the prison failed to save the correct file. Prosecutors claim the footage contained on the preserved video was for the correct date and time, but captured a different tier than the one where Jeffrey Epstein was located.
It was only one camera.
So our deputy director lied when he said there was only one camera. There were actually 11. At least 2 were recording. Only 1 got released. And according to our own government's report, 5 or 6 should have been recording, but weren't. When the cameras were working properly, they didn't save the right files. Incredibly unlucky. But lie number 3, there's nothing unlucky about it because we were told directly that the footage we were gonna get showed there was no one there but Epstein.
You're gonna see there's no one there but him. Right. There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing.
The footage just directly debunks this. There are several people who appear in the footage the FBI released, and actually one even appears after lockdown walking up the stairs. The government's report at first called this laundry, but independent experts agreed, according to one analysis by CBS.
At 10:38 p.m., the report says someone, probably Noel, carries a bundle of bedding or clothing up the stairs. It's a rare instance the video does catch movement on the stairs, but barely. Let's see that zoomed in and in slow motion again.
Okay.
Several of the video forensic experts we spoke with were skeptical about the report's conclusion and thought that the video could be showing an inmate walking up the stairs. Authorities say this was the last time anyone approached his cell block until his body was discovered the next morning. Again, while the video does not contradict that, experts who viewed the video say the limited field of view makes it impossible to definitively conclude that no one used those stairs in that time period.
Yeah, we don't know who that is. The government's not clear.
Couldn't you just walk up the right side of the stairs and then you're completely blocked from the field of view of the one camera?
And there are also several people who are housed in the same cell block as Jeffrey Epstein, which, as we've shown, isn't visible to the camera footage we were given. So that raises questions, and so do the two prison guards who were on staff that night and had a view of Epstein's cell. Both were charged with falsifying records.
Sorry, it saddens me that Jeffrey Epstein never got to experience the COVID lockdown experience. Is that what you said? Dude, shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. We're trying to watch this video. He put together a really good piece here. God damn, shut up.
Records on the night Epstein died, specifically with him lying about completing mandatory rounds to check on Jeffrey Epstein the night of his death, despite a posted warning that read mandatory rounds must be conducted every 30 minutes on Epstein as per God. But they did not do that. Instead, they appeared to fall asleep, according to the OIG report, and occasionally browse the internet, where one guard, quote, read a news article about Jeffrey Epstein. So it's just a total lie to say there was no one there but Epstein and no possible suspects. You have several inmates shown on the camera the night of his death. You have one walking up the stairs after lockdown, and you also have guards that just falsified records. But this all brings us to lie number 2, the second biggest Pinocchio, and that's where they told us we're going to get the raw footage so we know there aren't shenanigans.
Give us the
We're
raw
working
footage.
on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
So yeah, I don't think I need to explain why this is one of the most brazen lies. We were told we'd be given a modified and the original footage. Instead, what we got are 2 modified videos because both were edited in Premiere Pro. Now, it isn't clear exactly what was edited, but expert forensic analysts who spoke to Wired said the footage wouldn't stand up in court, had 1 minute, no wait, actually 3 minutes missing, and now there are reports that the DOJ has the full footage, but just hasn't released it.
And a government source is alleged to CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of the full, unedited footage.
And that brings us to the final point, the final biggest lie of all, and that's a direct quote from the DOJ memo about what the footage even shows. And it says this, quote, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the shoe common area would have been captured by this footage. The government's entire case is built on this lie, and that's why it's the biggest, because their whole case for saying no one could have reached him is the idea that this one camera angle shows everything. But let's put Maxwell in our 3D twin and have him walk up the stairs. First, we'll put him on the left side of the staircase, and as you can see, you can barely make him out. However, if we put him on the right side of the staircase, you'll find that you can't see him at all. He's invisible from our view. So there's just obviously a blind spot here, which, by the way, the government already knew because they already admitted in a previous Epstein report, saying that this camera angle specifically was a, quote, partial view of the L-tier stairway. So it's not a full view. You can't see everything. And as you can see in this excellent CBS investigation, you could actually access this stairway and Epstein's cell from a doorway invisible to the camera.
But with the primary entrance here, the pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera.
Yeah, that's right. You could access Epstein's cell. Our replication of the prison shows the same conclusion. If we have Maxwell walking from the shoe entrance to Epstein's cell, we can't see him from this camera angle, even though if we make the walls transparent, obviously we can see him. But in the raw footage, we'd have no way of knowing if somebody walked this direction. This painstaking recreation of the special housing unit can put to bed the top 5 lies
the
from our
Clankers
government
killed
about
him.
Jeffrey Epstein. 1, we didn't get a video of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. We got a camera, they can't see it. 2, there wasn't just 1 camera, there were 11. 3, the footage shows way more than just Epstein. 4, we didn't get raw footage, we got modified footage. And lastly, there are blind spots on this camera. I mean, it's just perfectly clear, and the government has previously admitted it. This, of course, doesn't mean, I have to say, that Epstein definitively himself, but the government is only adding fuel to the fire when they put out statements that are directly contradicted by their own video. The best you can—
It's just very suspicious, right? It's extremely suspicious. It feels like a cover-up in every way because there's so many inaccuracies and lies and inconveniences. It's very sus, as you might say in Among Us parlance.
Say is this is either extreme levels of negligence or deliberate.
I would put cameras up Epstein's ass if I had him under custody. I don't think that would be appropriate. I don't think that'd be appropriate. I think just a camera on his cell would be nice. Just one directly on his cell. Make sure it's recording and on. Maybe a backup camera on a different power source, given how important it is. Probably not under his ass though. Better safe than sorry. What if he actually does kill himself because you're putting cameras in his ass?
Competence to cover things up. The most honest thing you can say at this point is that we don't have definitive evidence for the night Epstein died, one way or the other, that has been released. The evidence we do have has been modified, does not say what they say it says, and all of this makes it impossible to know 100% what has happened. That is not a conspiracy. That's what the government's own evidence actually shows. Now, as I said, we'll make the 3D version of Epstein's housing unit available on Patreon. It's a Blender file along with a detailed look of how he created it. I should say the government's not exactly forthcoming about the exact specs of their prison, so we had to use some approximations using the photos provided and taking measurements where we could. But as I said, our
Bro, that shit's gonna be in like Counter-Strike within the week. People are gonna be taking B-site in Epstein's cell. It's gonna be a Roblox game, dude. You're gonna be stealing the brain rot out of Epstein's toilet by by this time on Tuesday. CS Epstein.
conclusions match up with the government's from years ago. So I think we're on safe ground there. That's basically it. Thanks for watching.
Self. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file.
ChatGPT cheated versus Stockfish? I can't watch cheating. I can't believe they do that. What else? What else can we learn? Tech bros invented trains again? What is this?
This is the Monocab, a two-wheeled, gyroscopic, autonomous, battery-powered rail pod balancing itself on a single rail. According to its creators, the Monocab is a high-tech, flexible, individualized mode of sustainable rail transportation that can breathe new life into closed-down branch lines. Do you live near one of those branch lines and want to travel somewhere? Just open the app and order one of the rail pods, and they will whisk you to your destination, in a cabin slightly wider than a coffin, all while balancing itself on a single rail using their built-in gyroscopes. Why on a single rail? Indeed why. So that two pods can pass each other even on a single track, bringing much-needed capacity to these deserted branch lines no one uses. Okay, so why is this idea the height of idiocy, and what should we build instead? Let's take a look. The Monocab is marketing itself basically as an Uber on rails.
This is
Just go
dumb,
to your
bro.
local closed...
I don't know if you even need 5 minutes. If the rail line's already abandoned, that means there's not enough traffic to support a train, let alone a fucking series of monocabs. And by the way, this only works places that already have established train lines.
down branch line, open the app, call a pod, and then wait half an hour until your painfully slow rolling coffin shows up to you. And this whole idea is a result of two major failures, one on a systemic level and one on an individual level. We'll talk about the systemic failure in a moment. As far as the individual level is concerned, it is extremely clear to me that the people who came up with the monocab have absolutely no idea how public transit works, and least of all how trains work. Look, these are trains. These are also trains. Plush trains. My plush trains. Which are on sale now for a limited time only. Get your own American GG1
Yeah, I mean, also, bro,
V63 locomotive.
if it has only 2-3 people in it, just get a car. It's like, why do you need a monocab on a rail? Take a fucking Uber. What is the... It doesn't make any... It doesn't even solve any...
stupid this whole thing is, the underlying idea is quite noble. You want to find a way to restore rail service on abandoned branch lines. And you want to do that because trains are a great form of transportation. They are efficient, scalable, fast, high capacity, and the technology needed to create a functioning service can be very simple. For example, Switzerland's first electrified line was inaugurated in 1899. We know how to build efficient, high-capacity, environmentally friendly rail. We've been doing it for 1¼ centuries. But then technos are like, yeah, that's cool and all. Epic, 420, Marvel, all that. But what if we took such a system and made it worse in pretty much every way? Why? Because it needs to travel on a single rail, so that pods can pass each other. So you can operate a single track line as a double track line, at the low price of forcing passengers into mobile coffins. But why?
Okay, but what if you made it so they can jump over each other? So like one can go and jump over the other one. So then you could have hundreds on each individual line. Or make one really tall and one short. Yeah. Yeah, do a Subway Surfer style. Okay? Yeah, that would be cool. That would work. Listen, I get it. This is a bad idea. I don't actually need to watch more of this video. This is a interesting dunk, but I get it. It's terrible. I want something. The scam capital of the world is the Vancouver Stock Exchange. Has Norway become too rich? Oh, these are the problems you have in Norway. Are you too rich? That's a fucking Aiden video, dude. What is gravity? No, I'm not interested in that. Napoleonic Wars, Battle of Friedland. That sounds interesting. Economics of Dutch East India Company. That sounds interesting. Did GTA 5 street signs comply with California law? Annie Austin's pretty great. Annie Austin is pretty great. Why American cities are broke, the growth Ponzi scheme. Why it sucks to be born as a catfish. Visa's debit card monopoly. The billionaire CEO who escaped arrest and fled Japan in a box. That's kind of interesting. Japan analysis? 5 days ago? Suggested 11 times? All right, fuck it. Sounds interesting.
You remember that time
That sounds interesting.
the CEO of Nissan escaped Japan inside a piece of luggage?
Carlos Ghosn fled house arrest.
Shocked the financial world, fled to Lebanon.
Fled to Lebanon.
In this trunk. Did he just leave or did he flee?
Yeah, this French bozo literally dodged a life sentence by smuggling himself out of the country in a box.
That's crazy.
Everyone was like, whoa, dude, that's crazy, and forgot about it a week later. But that's not even the wackiest thing that happened here. There's a massive web of screw-ups, hijinks, and backstabbings involving the Japanese government, France, and even the suits at the top of Nissan. But it all started with some really bad decisions made in the age of the boomer.
Love that.
It's 1999, and Nissan is in big, big trouble. Like, bigger than Bill Clinton trouble. The company's stock price is crashing like it's hawk to a coin.
Poor
and they were now
Nissan!
2.2 trillion yen in debt. The management wasn't helping either. The best idea they had was to turn off the elevators and air conditioning in HQ just to keep the lights on. If they didn't get their act together, Nissan was about to face something scarier than Y2K. Bankruptcy. They needed a miracle. And that miracle came in the form of Carlos Ghosn. At the time, Ghosn was vice president of France's big car company, Renault. And even though he looked like a nerdier version of Mr. Bean, in the industry he was more like Mr. Green. When things were on fire, companies sent Ghosn to put it out.
Okay.
In the 80s, the tire company Michelin was about to give up on their entire Brazilian operation. That was until they sent in Ghosn and his beautiful mustache.
He's 26?
He returned to the green within a year. Then came Renault, whose management was in trouble because they couldn't stop doing stuff like this.
If you are what you drive, imagine yourself as a Renault Encore. Expressively sporty in outlook, stylishly European.
They hired Ghosn in 19...
That's a fucking ad. Holy cinema. Become the car. Wait, I want one now. It's also such an ugly car.
1997, and he saved them millions of dollars, and all he had to do was lay off 3,000 workers.
Oh, that's okay. Didn't
For
really fix
this,
the
he
ads.
earned the title Le Cost Cutter, or in English, the cost cutter.
Yeah, I got it.
Renault offered Nissan a deal they couldn't refuse. They would give a bunch of money for a measly 37% of Nissan. On top of that, Carlos Ghosn, a man who didn't even speak Japanese, would be the new boss of the whole company. Or
That's
else.
crazy.
Bankruptcy-bound Nissan signed the contract before the ink was even dry. I mean, their 2.2 trillion yen debt wasn't going to pay itself. So Big Daddy Ghosn marches into Yokohama and immediately goes to the production line. And the first thing he notices is that Nissan is releasing cars in America 18 months after they had launched in Japan. They'd spend millions hyping up the car at home, then deliver it to America once everyone had already forgotten about it. Absolute genius. Ghosn was like, can we not do that? And everyone told him it was impossible. So Ghosn gave his best Japanese engineers a week to come up with their solutions to this problem, and the best that he got was, we can delay the Japanese launch by a year, and then they'll only be 6 months apart. Now, I'm no expert, but I would guess Ghosn didn't like that answer very much.
I wonder why that problem was.
Ghosn also found out why Nissan was in so much debt. They owned $4 billion worth of shares in 1,394 other Japanese companies. This was the corporate equivalent of using Klarna to finance a burrito. This has got to be a mistake. Why? Well, Nissan was a keiretsu, and like every large company in Japan, owned a little bit of every other company. This was, apparently, to make sure no single company tried to rock the boat. So Nissan...
That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. That is so fucking stupid. We need this? Dude, we sort of have this in a different way. Every company doesn't own each other, but everybody now owns every company. Like, how do I put this? Like with this Japanese system, the incentive is not to compete so hard, not to drive prices down, and not to innovate and kill your competitors because everyone owns each other. So it leads to stagnation. But we have a similar thing where the average person isn't picking to invest in Ford or GM. They own a little piece of both. Everybody owns a little piece of both. So real competition actually hurts them on net. It's an implicit collusion versus an explicit one.
Own shares in everything from normal things like their own suppliers, although
Big A starting his commie arc, it's absolutely nothing to do with communism. It literally has nothing to do with it. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I think you literally didn't hear what I was saying and then said
way up to a supermarket chain and even some of their own competitors. After much
That's what the
thought,
communists say?
Ghosn came up with a brilliant strategy to save the company. Stop doing the dumb shit.
That's a good...
He immediately sold off 1,390 of 1,394 companies.
Okay.
Japan
In a
freaked out.
RuneScape market?
He sniffed out unproductive factories, shut them down, and fired their workers faster than someone who's known for firing people. Japan freaked out even more. The firing people meta hadn't come there yet. Ghosn started getting death threats, and protesters swarmed Nissan
Hard
HQ
to
like
do
it was
mass
the
layoffs
last
in
PS5
Japan.
at Walmart. But you know what? Ghosn's plan actually worked. In 2000, Nissan made a profit for the first time in 3 years. By 2001, they had nearly cut their debt in half. Le cost cutter had saved the companies.
Okay, he's ahead of the meta.
Carlos Ghosn, the guy who looked like Mr. Bean, was now the coolest man in the country. He won Japan's Father of the Year award, crowds cheered for him at baseball games, and Japanese women literally wanted to have his kids. Honestly, kudos, Carlos. That's pretty impressive.
That's crazy.
He even got a manga written about him called
crazy.
Carlos Ghosn Monogatari. So Ghosn was living it up. He wore more stylish suits, hung out with cooler friends, and got a younger wife with more expensive tastes. Of course, Nissan paid him well for saving the company. By 2008, he was making over $19 million per year, making him the highest paid man in Japan.
Wow.
But you know what else happened in 2008?
Nothing
The
bad.
stock market is now down
43%.
The Japanese people were pissed. They didn't crash the market, but now it was destroying their economy. They demanded a crackdown on corporate greed, and as a result, Japan passed a new law that required executives who made more than $1 million per year to disclose their income. Ghosn's $20 million salary would make Nissan look bad, so under pressure from the board,
funny, 'cause that's not
he
even
was
that
forced
much.
to take a 50% pay.
You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk just got a $30 billion pay package. We're talking about 20 million here. There's some guy fucking working AI in a basement at Meta who gets 20 million. Chump change.
Cut. And he was not happy about this. $10 million? How could anyone live off of that? Didn't Nissan know that he had obligations? Like this Marie Antoinette themed birthday party at Versailles.
Is there anything more on the nose than having a Marie Antoinette birthday party at Versailles? If you don't want to seem like an out-of-touch rich person, I can't imagine. Just don't do that particularly.
His vacations in Ibiza and the south of France. And how is he going to pay for this $100 million yacht? Ghosn started airing his discontent in public.
Tiny yacht.
Well, I'm going to shock you, but since we're off the record, I am not very well paid, actually, compared with the CEO of General Motors or Ferrari.
And he was serious. GM really was headhunting him to lead their company. And Nissan really wanted to keep him around. They even had this guy, Greg Kelly, whose job was basically just to keep Ghosn happy. Remember that for later. But Nissan's trust in Ghosn was faltering. By now, Ghosn was CEO of both Nissan and Renault at the same time, and he seemed distracted. He'd fly between Tokyo.
The Jack Dorsey. I'm CEO of Twitter and Square. Or Block, I guess is what it became. And I spent 95% of my time working at the other company, but I really do care about Twitter. I really do care. Dude, Jack Dorsey would spend 6 months out of the year with his phone turned off in Africa on a silent retreat. Then he would come back and spend all his time working at Square, 5% at Twitter, and he would still be CEO and get full pay. It was insane.
In Paris twice a month. Execs at both companies had to start scheduling meetings with him 3 weeks in advance. The cracks had started to show. In 2011, he made a massive mistake, falsely accusing 3 Renault employees of spying for China. Things really came to a head when rumors surfaced about a merger between Nissan and Renault. Nissan hated the idea of becoming French. Hell, the name Nissan literally means made in Japan. They might have looked past everything else Ghosn did, but not this. Nissan was a proud Japanese company. End of story. And Gon always said he would never merge the two companies.
Why don't you make a merger between the two companies and you don't, get one team, etc. It doesn't work. I cannot make one team of Japanese and French managing a company which would be neither Japanese nor French.
And yet you are.
See, this is what he sounds like. Anyways, as the years passed, he seemed to warm up to the idea of a merger.
Will Nissan and Renault be merged?
Nobody can answer this
question.
Okay,
the next question.
On November 18th, 2018.
It's the Trump when asked if he's going to pardon somebody. I never even thought about it. There's no answer. No, how could I know? Just say no. Let's just say no. I mean, I could do it. I have the power. I never thought about it.
Gon boarded his flight to Tokyo to discuss the merger with Nissan executives, but he would not arrive at this meeting. So Gon steps off his private jet at Haneda Airport and he's greeted by a customs officer. Hi, are you Carlos Gon? Yes, I am. Do you not see my cool private jet with my cool license plate?
That's cool.
That is a very cool plane, sir. I'm glad you are here. You are under arrest. Gon is immediately sent to jail and charged with the crime of underreporting post-retirement remuneration. Japanese prosecutors allege that Nissan was going to pay him a large amount of money when he retired, and even though that was in the future, he failed to declare it as income now. That's it? That's like getting arrested for filing the wrong tax form.
Well, no, I see what they're doing. Nissan wants to pay him more. They can't do it because it publicly looked bad. So they make a sneaky promise to give him a huge payout when he finally leaves. Yeah, that's the incentive is totally there. I get what they would do that.
But Gon was about to learn that Japan...
Yeah, it's kind of like Otani, right? That's that stuff where they backload all the pay so they can make it work now. And I get it.
Took his case very seriously. He was sent straight into solitary confinement with all the amenities. We're talking bright fluorescent lights 24/7, strip searches twice a day, and daily interrogation sessions that could be as long as 14 hours with no lawyers.
This is a more secure lockdown than we gave Jeffrey Epstein. This CEO who failed to disclose a slightly higher pay.
Present. But at least there was one saving grace. Japan could only do this for 20 days before charging him. So as these 20 days of isolation and not being able to talk to anyone came to an end, Gon knew the prosecution would have to let him go. That is, unless they added a new charge, like for financial misconduct. Yes, through this one simple life hack, the Japanese cops would keep looping these 20-day detentions over and over to keep him in there for almost 4 months until he got out on bail.
Oh, damn.
This cost him over $13 million, and the conditions got so strict, he couldn't talk to anyone related to the case, including his own wife.
That's crazy.
Not only that, they had him under constant surveillance, cameras outside his home, police monitoring him 24/7. He swears they were even bugging his phone lines. Gon knew Japan was not playing around. By this point, not only the public and everyone he knew, even Nissan had turned against him.
This is the act which cannot be tolerated by the company.
If he lost his case, he could go to prison for the rest of his life. The same prison where he had just spent 23.5 hours per day alone in his own cell. The entire criminal system was stacked against him, and he needed a way out. Wait, did you hear that? It's Michael Taylor! Michael Taylor was basically a fixer. He was former U.S. Special Forces,
USA!
And he already had a long and dubious history as a security contractor in the Middle East. One day, Taylor got a mysterious phone call asking if he could help a certain wealthy individual who was in some legal trouble in Japan. I wonder who that could be. Taylor flies to Japan with his son and immediately calls up Gon.
Oh, hello, this is Carlos.
Taylor could hear the shower and radio on full blast in the background because Carlos was so paranoid of his house being bugged. Taylor assures Gon he knows what he's doing. In fact, he had done this once before when he got a reporter out of Afghanistan.
That's wild.
Slowly, Taylor gains Gon's confidence and he begins to lay out various intricate plans to sneak Gon out of Japan. a cargo ship to Korea, a forged Swedish passport, a charter boat full of Navy SEALs. But ultimately, Taylor finds an airport in Kansai with very lax security for private jets.
Okay.
So Taylor starts telling Ghosn his plan, and slowly Carlos begins to believe. Eventually, he musters the courage to meet Taylor in person. So Ghosn puts on his disguise and sneaks out of his house. He's extremely paranoid that he's being followed, but he manages to make it all the way to the Grand Hyatt Hotel without being recognized. He heads up to room 933, Taylor's room. He opens the door and boom, there it is. His ticket out of Japan. A big black instrument box. Ghosn was going to get into this box and be carried onto a private jet. Ghosn is terrified, but Taylor tells him to just get in the box and see if he fits. Ghosn gets inside and notices the box is custom made for his height with holes for breathing. Ghosn starts to believe that this crazy plan might actually work. But then Taylor's like, well, we're all here. Why don't we just do it today? So they get on the bullet train at Shinagawa, and there's only a few rules. Don't take off your disguise, don't draw attention to yourself, and do not speak.
Yeah.
Once they get to Kansai Airport, Ghosn gets in the box and is carried into the terminal. It was a holiday, so security was sparse that day. The final hurdle was the
Oh my God,
X-ray
yeah, how do they
machine.
do the X-ray
Taylor
machine?
tells the staff that the instruments in his box are too valuable to go through the scanner, and the guards actually fall for it.
That's fucking crazy. Wait, that's crazy. You could just have a huge big black box that gets completely unexamined. Why wouldn't they at least just open it?
Ghosn was loaded onto the plane in his box, and 12 hours later, he was back in Lebanon. The humble guy that Ghosn is, the very first thing he does is host a press conference to tell everyone that he's out.
As you can imagine, today is a very important day for me. I did not escape justice. I fled injustice.
Now, you might be wondering, why the hell did Ghosn run from a tiny charge of falsifying income? Why wouldn't he just stay in Japan and fight it? Smuggling yourself across the border in a box is not a very CEO-like thing to do, right? To understand, we got to talk about the case against him. Was he guilty or was he innocent? So when investigators searched Ghosn's house, they found this paper that was talking about the agreement he had with Nissan to pay him money when he retired to make up for the 50% pay cut he took. And that was incriminating, but it was just the tip of the iceberg. Once they started digging into his finances, they noticed a ton more sketchy stuff. Like, remember that Marie Antoinette-themed birthday party at Versailles?
Sure.
Ghosn hosted that party on Nissan's dime,
of course
even though none of them were invited. His family's private jet vacations all over the world, these were logged as Nissan business trips. He even got his sister a cushy 6-figure job at Nissan, even though nobody really knew what...
6-figure? 6 figures, $100,000. $750,000 job? Ghosn girl, that's good.
She did. But
that's a W,
how was
brother.
he able to spend so much of Nissan's money without anyone catching on? Well, it was a special process called Carlos's CEO Reserve. This was a little system that let him get around all the paperwork and send anyone he wanted any amount of money with only 3 signatures anytime. Authorities who looked into these...
It's kind of like SBF with his parents, except that whole company was fake, so...
payments were surprised by how many of them were going to this one car dealership in Oman. That's this country here. It all started when Ghosn had a little $20 million debt he couldn't pay off. Around the same time, Ghosn's friend Suhail Bawan just happened to get a $20 million loan from Nissan for expanding
That's
operations.
lucky.
Then, suddenly, a mysterious stranger helped pay off Ghosn's entire debt. Over the years, Ghosn would use this Omani infinite money glitch to help finance his yacht, renovations on his mansion, and even a $27 million injection into Shogun Investments, a venture capitalist fund ran by his son. Ghosn logged all of these expenses as
Dude, being a rich French kid whose dad works in Japan and you start Shogun Investments, that's so embarrassing. That's some Lex Luthor shit. He's a real family man, though. He basically went to Japan and milked his company dry for the benefit of his own family.
dealer incentives to help them in the Middle Eastern market. Yeah, and my $700 a year Monster Energy budget is a necessary business expense. But all of this wasn't enough for Ghosn. Remember this guy whose job it was to make Ghosn happy? Greg Kelly? Well, he managed to convince Nissan's board that a few of the dates on Ghosn's stock-based compensation needed to be tweaked by a few days. And as a result, Ghosn made off with an extra $1.3 million. How
about that?
And Kelly paid the price for this, actually. He was arrested on the same day as Ghosn. And once Ghosn fled Japan, the entire investigation came down on Kelly.
Yeah, they had to get somebody.
It was a slam dunk case. Over 3 years, hundreds of hours of trials in the Japanese legal system with a 99.4% conviction rate. Kelly stood no chance. And he was obviously found...
You don't want to...
Not
absurdly
guilty?
high conviction.
How?
What? Excuse me?
Yes, Greg Kelly was found not guilty on 7 of 8 counts. His sentence was 6 months probation.
Clutched it.
Okay, but wait, what happened to all the damning evidence? Is Carlos Ghosn actually innocent?
Part 5.
Of the 8 charges against Greg Kelly for helping Ghosn conceal his income, he was only convicted for the year 2017. The judge found that there was insufficient evidence that anything illegal took place for all 7 of the other years they tried him on. So basically, they got him on 1 charge of negotiating Ghosn's package, which is a small offense. But to secure this conviction, executives at Nissan literally lured Greg Kelly from America to Japan, which took a lot of convincing because Greg Kelly was an old man with severe spine issues.
Also doesn't want to...
He was in intense pain all the time and could barely move. But Nissan still lured him to Japan on a private jet and had him arrested within hours.
That's crazy.
After this, they kept Kelly, a 63-year-old man with severe spine issues, in a jail cell for over a month, where he had to sleep on the floor and was forced to spend all day sitting in the corner.
Dude, it's funny. This jail cell in Japan is indistinguishable from Ariana's apartment when she worked at an internship there. I think this is nicer. This is nicer. This is the apartment she had. It was a tiny little... I'm gonna ask her. Hey, babe. Yeah? Can you come here real quick? Yeah, 1 second.
What?
Do you remember that apartment you had in Japan when you worked at the internship?
Well, but that was a share house.
Do you think it was better or worse than this?
Well, it's a trick question because is this my own apartment? Because this is better. Obviously, the share house, there was like 8 other people in there.
That's what I'm saying. This is a jail cell in Japan.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks
good. And it's
good.
nicer than your apartment.
Yeah, well, no, but it wasn't nicer than my actual apartment in Niigata. That was a nice one.
Well, it was nicer than the one I visited,
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
I visited both, so.
Yeah, the one I visited.
Can't just cherry pick, you know.
Anyway. That's funny.
They kept Kelly, a 63-year-old man with severe spine issues, in a jail cell for over a month, where he had to sleep on the floor and was forced to spend all day sitting in the corner of his cell in an L shape. When he finally got bail, his wife said he had lost so much weight and looked terrible. Kelly's entire trial took 3 years, but in the end, all he got was a 6-month suspended sentence. And Kelly wasn't the only victim of the Japanese legal system. Michael Taylor and his son were extradited from the US for their role in helping Ghosn escape, and their conditions were even worse.
Carlos's time in jail was a cakewalk compared to what we suffered. 15 consecutive days or more of solitary is considered torture. My son spent 13 months in solitary,
That's
and
insane.
I spent 17. You sleep on the floor, you eat on the floor, there's no heat, it's freezing, you get frostbite because you don't have shoes, you can't stay warm, it's impossible, and you're not allowed to exercise in your room. My attorneys came to me and told me my father was dying on his deathbed. I requested to make a phone call to him, and they denied my request. He died without me being able to say goodbye to him.
That's
By the time Michael Taylor was released, he had lost over 50 pounds. In 2020, the UN Human Rights Council on Arbitrary Detention concluded that Carlos Ghosn's human rights were violated by Japanese authorities. The point is, Japanese prosecutors seem to have a massive vendetta for everyone involved in this
it's probably
case.
just public opinion, right?
I think the straw that broke the camel's back and made him realize he had to flee in the box was, and this is one of the most insane things I've ever heard, as part of Ghosn's bail conditions, he wasn't allowed to talk to his wife or interact with her at all until the end of the trial. And this trial was expected to last for 7 years. Imagine not talking to your wife for 7 years. Isn't the Japanese legal system awesome? Like, I don't want to get too deep into the prosecutorial misconduct here, but in Ghosn's case, they wouldn't let him access these 6,000 plus internal Nissan documents that could clear his name. And in Kelly's case, the judge literally refused to admit it.
Someone said that's a bad thing. Like, it's Facebook humor. Facebook quote tweet. Wish the judge would give that to me.
Into evidence an internal Nissan memo where their own investigators said that it wasn't some sort of hidden salary agreement. They were just planning to pay Ghosn for consulting after he retired. So why did these Japanese prosecutors hate Ghosn so much that they were going this hard to get a conviction? Well, it's one word: merger. Everything comes back to the merger. No one in Japan wanted to see Nissan become a French company. So when the French government suddenly passed a law that granted itself even more control over Nissan, the Japanese government started panicking. If the merger had gone through, Nissan would effectively be controlled by Renault and its largest shareholder, the French government. But Ghosn's big secret was that he actually wanted the merger to happen because it would finally put him in the Billionaires Club.
Sheesh! Sigma!
Japanese prosecutors and Nissan were working together. The investigation actually started at Nissan and was only brought to prosecutors after this guy, Harinada, got involved. Harinada was actually the guy who personally lured Greg Kelly to Japan. But do you know what's interesting? He was actually doing a lot of the same shady shit that Ghosn was. He only flipped on Ghosn in exchange for immunity. And even Nissan's next CEO, the one who gave the press conference calling out Ghosn, was later found to be doing some of the exact same things Ghosn was doing. And guess what? Neither him nor Harinada spent a day in jail. So while Ghosn was certainly not innocent, a lot of what he was doing was common practice among executives at Nissan and other large Japanese companies. Like paying Ghosn as a consultant after he retires, that does sound a bit shady, right? Until you find out that 50% of large Japanese companies were doing that with their executives at the time. Nissan in particular had a history of poor governance, which is why Ghosn was able to move so much money around with so little scrutiny. The board knew all about Ghosn's shady slush fund. They just didn't want to do anything about it because they couldn't afford to lose him. And that fear has proven true. Ever since they ousted Ghosn, Nissan has been on a downward spiral with mounting debts and a failing alliance with Renault. They are in massive trouble right now. So if Nissan really did conspire to oust Ghosn, it completely backfired. And the true tragedy is, we'll never know exactly what happened here. Truth and justice are completely hopeless in a legal system mired in so much prosecutorial misconduct and outright abuse of prisoners. Lebanon will never extradite Ghosn, so he'll never see the inside of the courtroom, France? And we'll never get the full story. The story of Carlos Ghosn remains a highly controversial issue in Japan. Not only was his escape a national embarrassment, but it thrust their archaic medieval justice system into the worldwide spotlight. At the time, Japan's justice minister couldn't help but say on camera, Carlos Ghosn should prove his innocence, which is not exactly how a modern criminal justice system is supposed to work. Personally, after extensively researching both sides of the Ghosn case, it's clear to me that Carlos was an extremely competent businessman who genuinely cared about Nissan. Say what you want about him, but he stuck with Nissan even when taking a massive pay cut and even after being headhunted by GM. But on the other hand, he was also clearly obsessed with his own wealth. He had everything anyone could ever want, yet he was still meticulously counting his $999 million.
He met Trudeau?
I honestly cannot understand the mindset of someone like that. Interestingly, while public sentiment in Japan remains strong...
it was just a CEO who wanted to get paid a lot. He was apparently pretty good at making Nissan more profitable. He wanted to get paid a lot. Public pressure made it so he couldn't do that. So he found a shady way to still get paid a lot. Yeah, I don't think it's that crazy. And the Japanese government could have blocked the merger rather than engage in like this weird throw him in solitary for months, recycle charges. You could have just blocked the merger. You could just, that would be a better way to do it.
Negative towards Ghosn, there are some positive signs. In a survey of 120 Japanese lawyers, 70% agreed with Ghosn's view that Japan's legal system is basically hostage justice. Ultimately, beyond Ghosn himself, the real moral of the story, the thing to take away from this video is that Japan's legal system is deeply flawed and urgently needs reform. Honestly, this case is so big and complicated, like 80% of what I researched didn't even make the final cut. Like, did you know Michael Taylor hates Carlos Ghosn now? So what I did is I made like a podcast style rant where I just go over the 10 or 20 most interesting facts that I couldn't cover here. It's completely free to watch. It's in the pinned comment and on the description.
Check it
it's
out!
on Patreon, but you don't have to sign in or pay. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much to my patrons for making this whole YouTube career possible, and I'll see you next time.
I just need to say something. Like, this type of talk. Shut up, bro. Yes, someone should have human rights. You know, just grab someone off the street and hold them in solitary on a crime they haven't proved yet. Obviously. Just shut up, bro. Just. Okay? Just obviously. And clearly there's a systemic problem where every company's doing it. So, anyway, chat, I think I'm going to call it. Yeah, human rights should only be for humans I like. I enjoyed stream today. Thank you very much. That was fun. I will be live tomorrow as a rare Sunday stream because I skipped on Wednesday or Thursday. But I am playing basketball, so I have to work around that. But I will be live tomorrow, at least for a Smallville or something, to keep Atrioc August thriving. And I can't do Absolute Radiance tonight. I'm going to watch a show with Art. We're going to watch Always Sunny, the new ep. But I will do Absolute Radiance tomorrow then, maybe. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Thanks, JREG, again, for coming on the show. And what else did I want to say? Atrioc 7. Goodbye!